She's clearly the supreme mother of dragons, ruler over countless dragon folk, yet she pretended to be a weak girl about to be assaulted by bandits just to trick me. A pure little demon king comes to the rescue. Even though she was crying her eyes out, I wasn't moved in the slightest, because the moment she lured me into her cave, she would have finished me off. Originally, I was just the 666th Demon King of this continent, but everyone knows the Demon King is fated to be defeated by the hero. So I decided I wasn't going to be the Demon King anymore. I want to take over the strongest human empire 25 years before the hero is even born, and become their king. I came to the human world with such noble intentions, only to be treated like some country bumpkin by the patrol guards. For a moment, I wondered if they were even talking about me. Then, the soldiers pointed their spears at me. I pondered for a moment, then smiled and introduced myself as Dios. The words had barely left my mouth when a burly knight stepped forward, calling me an arrogant brat. "How dare you use the name of an ancient god? Don't you know this is the capital of the wider kingdom?" I found that a bit confusing. Is the wider kingdom supposed to be a big deal? Can I be the king? The knight couldn't believe I would say something so treasonous. He immediately drew his weapon and pointed it at my head. But a cold glint flashed in my eyes, and in the next second, the knight's head exploded. The soldier was stunned, but an instant later, his head exploded too. Those who thought of resisting fell at my feet before they could even draw their weapons. I hung all the soldiers' corpses upside down as my voice echoed throughout the royal capital. "O mortals, welcome your new and great king!" A terrifying aura enveloped the entire royal palace. All the soldiers rushed towards the main gate, but when they saw my figure, they were all terrified. At that moment, I was like a demon returned from hell. Wherever I went, corpses piled up in an instant, and only one holy knight remained, struggling to stand. I watched him with amusement as he mumbled something. "O Creator of the world, grant me the strength to vanquish the darkness." A divine light descended upon him. He raised his holy sword and unleashed his strongest attack at me. A tremendous energy immediately engulfed the entire castle. However, the holy knight's face immediately filled with horror, because I had stopped his attack with a gentle squeeze. "In my presence do not speak of gods." As soon as the words were spoken, I appeared behind him, a heart clutched tightly in my hand. And so, the holy knight collapsed at my feet in absolute terror. Next, I stepped into the throne room, where the last of the knights were protecting the king with their lives. Sitting on the throne, he looked at me with a dark expression. Are you the master of this kingdom? Let's have a proper chat." But before I could finish, a soldier foolishly interrupted me. "How dare you address His Majesty directly?" I simply snapped my fingers, and this small fry dropped dead on the spot. The knights were so scared they pissed themselves. I leaped up as a pair of wings sprouted from my back. An instant later, I was right in front of the king. "Now, can we have a proper chat?" The king was terrified. "Whatever you want, I can give it to you." I casually told him to hand over the kingdom. However, the king roared in fury, "Anything but that! I can give you anything." I casually scratched my ear. "If not, then I'll just kill you and deal with your family. This kingdom will be mine in the end, one way or another." The moment I finished, the king looked agonized. "I know! You want my daughter! Absolutely not! She is the pride of the continent, the flower of the royal family." However, I couldn't care less about any of that. I didn't even know he had a daughter. "I don't want your daughter. I want the throne." Hearing this, the king became even more furious. "Why must you take what does not belong to you?" I replied coldly. "And are these things yours?" The king tried to argue back. "This kingdom, of course, belongs to the royal family." But I didn't give him a chance to retort. "Didn't you just steal it from someone else? You've enjoyed a comfortable life in this position for 15 years already. Now I want it." The king roared, "If you do this, the Holy Court will not spare you." I scoffed. "The Holy Court? What's that? Who cares?" As soon as I spoke, a terrifying energy erupted from my body. It instantly enveloped the entire palace, turning everything around into rubble. Watching the king turn to ash, I couldn't sense any trace of pure blood from him. I was a little disappointed. Looking up at the sky, I thought, is this the extent of humanity's power? It seems they weren't prepared at all. But then again, that makes sense. I awakened 25 years early. The hero indeed hasn't appeared yet. It turns out on this continent, the war between the Demon King and humanity has been going on for 66,585 years. And despite all that, the Demon King has lost every single time. But every 100 years, a new Demon King is resurrected. However, even so, the hero always appears unexpectedly to defeat the Demon King. As for me, the 666th Demon King, I've learned from the experiences of my predecessors and awakened 25 years early precisely to put an end to it all. Let time bear witness to how I will destroy this world. Just then, a beautiful figure ran in. She looked at me with tear-filled eyes, her face wrought with grief. "Who are you? What have you done to my father?" I was a bit confused for a moment, and then I remembered. She was the king's daughter. "Oh well, the king is dead. I will marry you and inherit the throne." Hearing that her father was dead, Angel stared at me, her face a mask of disbelief. But before she could say anything, I simply snapped my fingers. Angel froze, then knelt. "This humble body is yours, my lord. Please accept me." I leaped in front of her and gently lifted her chin. "From now on, you will be the first human to belong to me." But just at that moment, I said coldly, "Stop peeking before I gouge your eyes out. Show yourself." At the same time, the void trembled, and a figure slowly emerged from a rift. "As expected of you, my great lord. Your loyal servant Ares greets you, my lord." Seeing him, I wasn't surprised at all. "You used to serve my father, after all. Why did you follow me here?" Ares respectfully replied, "My lord, your body was a gift from the previous demon lord. Therefore, you are my only master now." I told him to get lost, that I wasn't going back to the demon world. Unexpectedly, Ares smiled and agreed without hesitation, telling me to do as I please, which I found extremely strange. Ares pointed to the human princess in front of me. "My lord, aren't you planning on sowing your seed in this woman? To think the little boy who was just toddling the other day has now become interested in women." Looking at Ares's sappy face, I just wanted to swallow him whole. I declared to him that I wasn't going to be the demon lord anymore. I wanted to become a normal person. Ares wasn't angry at all. On the contrary, he looked at me with an indulgent expression. Helpless, Ares had no choice but to ask me, "My lord, is there any special reason you attacked this country? Was it because they invaded your territory? Or were you angered by their greed for the demon world's treasures?" But I didn't really think that much about it. I just thought being the king of humans wouldn't be so bad. Unexpectedly, Ares was overjoyed. "As expected of our demon lord, you came to the human world and not only conquered the largest kingdom, but you also killed their king, and even planned to marry the human princess, and on top of all that, you want to disguise yourself as a commoner. A scheme so profound, even a high-ranking demon like myself wouldn't dare to imagine it. You were truly born to be the demon lord, but rest assured, my lord, even if you abandon us, I will take your son back to the demon world and raise him to be a demon lord. In 25 years, he will succeed you as the 666th demon lord to descend upon the human world." Hearing this, I was speechless for a moment. I turned to look at the human princess beside me, feeling incredibly lucky that I had escaped that fate. I'm 80 years old, in the prime of my youth. I almost became that kid's father. But suddenly my expression changed. A massive wave of energy erupted from my mouth, hurtling towards Ares. The terrifying power flattened a 100-mile mountain range ahead, but I had no intention of killing Ares. I was just venting my anger for almost falling into the human's trap. "Next time, you tell me about things like this sooner." Ares was scared stiff by my actions. That terrifying blast made him realize that I was different from the demon lords before me. Perhaps this time, we can actually win. But then he turned to remind me, "Isn't becoming king a bit too conspicuous? Then I'll become a defender of justice. The hero's companion. No one would ever suspect that the hero's companion is actually the demon lord. Let that foolish hero fight on the front lines while we quietly reap the benefits from behind." Thinking this, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. I'm such a genius. But Ares looked like he was about to faint. He urged me to come to my senses. "Without a demon lord, there can be no hero. So how can you become the hero's companion, my lord?" But I paid him no mind, leaping forward and telling Ares to come find the hero with me. At the same time, everything happening around me was being watched by a mysterious figure. This 666th demon lord seems to be a defective product. Not only is his status low, but his intellect is also lacking. It seems my chance has come. And this person was none other than the supreme mother of 10,000 dragons. Not long after, I was sitting comfortably in a horse-drawn carriage, enjoying the scenery. But Ares was a bit puzzled. "Why are we slowly riding in a carriage instead of just flying?" I replied to him with an impatient look. "If we fly, wouldn't that just tell everyone that we're demons?" Ares pointed at the castle and challenged me. "But you already burned the castle down to this state. Who doesn't know you're a demon now?" I pretended not to hear him. Ares, still puzzled, wondered why his master didn't want to be the hero, but the hero's companion instead. Because as a companion, you don't need a special bloodline. It doesn't matter at all. We just need to find some fool to be the vanguard, and we can count the money from behind. It turns out that the heroes of this world are also ranked, starting with S-class. At the top are those who can slay dragons, called Dragon Slayers. The next rank is G-class, Giant Slayers, followed by R-class, Hydra Slayers. As for A, B, and C-class, those are determined by the Hero Management Board of the Holy Imperial Court. Additionally, there's the lowest of the low, F-class, also known as the Dregs. They receive no support from the nobility, nor are they beloved by the people. They're like rotten vegetables that can be thrown away at any time. However, there is something even more important for a hero than their rank: their bloodline. 66,585 years ago, after humanity's first saviors, the hero and the saintess, killed the first demon lord. Their descendants spread throughout the world. Through generations, the purer the remaining bloodline in a family, the stronger their spiritual power. Every 100 years, a hero with the purest bloodline appears to fight the demon lord. Hearing all this, I felt no interest whatsoever. It's because of this damn war that I was trapped in an egg for 85 years. Now I just want to hide behind the hero and live peacefully as a rich man. Just then, a butterfly flew over my head, followed by a gentle breeze that blew through my hair. The warm sunlight shone down on me, making me feel incredibly comfortable. Everything in the human world is so beautiful. I was supposed to stay in that egg for another 25 years and then be destroyed by the hero, the moment I first set foot on this land, but now I've escaped. Perhaps this was the wise choice. At this moment, Dare was leisurely strolling down the road, singing happily, "Oh, Mr. Hero, our gullible Mr. Hero, where could you be? If you don't want to die, you'd better show yourself." That foolish Mr. Hero. Push him to the front. Let him do all the hard work. He walked down every road without a hint of fatigue, and continued happily with his own song. "Our gullible Mr. Hero, you really shouldn't have fought the Demon Lord. Oh, but the Demon Lord is gone now." Iris, sitting in the front, couldn't listen anymore and called out to him, "My lord!" But Dare didn't seem to hear, only stopping his song to yawn. Seeing this, he had to call out again, "My lord!" On this second call, he finally heard and responded. Only after getting a reply did Ares dare to voice the question that had been bothering him. "Why do we have to take a carriage when we can fly? What a hassle." Dare was a little angry at being asked such a foolish question and explained again, "What is it, you idiot? Are you trying to let the whole world know you're a demon?" He fell silent, thinking about this response for a moment, then turned to point at the castle and mocked, "You're so worried, yet you turned the entire castle into this?" Despite the criticism, Dare didn't care. He just lay there yawning as if nothing had happened and continued to sing, "Whatever, it's burning, it's burning." Realizing he couldn't win that argument, he switched to another question. "By the way, are you planning to become a hero's companion?" Hearing this, Dare became excited and answered cheerfully, "Yes, they say you don't even need the bloodline to become a companion. I just want to live like the top 2% of the world, the life of the rich, by going to the front lines and killing monsters." Hearing him talk so carelessly as if it were that easy, Alex was a bit worried. Even if you become a hero's companion, it's very difficult to be in the top 2%. He knew the difficulties that lay ahead, yet Dare still had this desire. He changed his mind. "The former Demon King and one of the 7 strongest demons of the demon world is right here. So what's there to worry about? A hero can kill a dragon like it's a chicken, if we help him a little." "I thought you wanted to become a human. Are you planning on using magic?" However, despite Alex's worries, Dare remained firm. "Why wouldn't I use what I have, you fool? That's why you lost 665 times. Then after a moment of thought, he asked, "Never mind that, you gullible fool. Do those heroes have a ranking system?" Alex immediately answered, "Yes, sir. They do have a ranking system." Hearing that, Dare was a little confused and asked back, "A ranking system? Like A rank? B rank?" Seeing that just saying yes was a bit confusing, he explained further. "Something like that, sir. First is D rank, Dragon Slayer." Deer was confused. "D rank?" Alex explained. "It means they are people who can slay a dragon." Dare found this a bit interesting. "So it's like a title you get after killing a dragon?" His expression changed as he got serious. "No, sir. Currently, dragons are neutral between humans and demons. Dragons only attack villages in old fairy tales. It means they have enough power to do so." He also pointed out other difficulties. Next is G rank, Giant Slayer. Those are people who can fight against a giant. Dare was curious and wanted to know more. "G rank. What's after that?" Alex didn't disappoint him and explained further. "L rank, Lich Slayer. That's someone who can kill a lich." The more he heard, the more troublesome it sounded, but he still wanted to learn more. "Why are there so many? Are there more?" He didn't want to go into more troublesome details and just said, "After that, it's just like the alphabet, sir." After hearing that, Dare became a bit contemptuous. "They just name them whatever they want? The rest sounds so boring." Faced with this unanswerable question, Alex didn't know what to say. "I don't know either, sir. The Hero Management Bureau is the one that decides that." But he added a warning about another rank. Finally, there's F rank. They're considered new products. If they were food, they'd be the spoiled stuff that couldn't be sold. They'll just lie on the ground and rot. Hearing about this rank, Dare mused, "Defective products, huh? It's sad, isn't it?" Alex also offered a suggestion. "You could get help from nobles of a higher rank or gain a position in the country." He didn't mention the bad outcomes. The failures not only don't receive funding, but they're also the ones people hope will just disappear. Hearing this from Alex, Dare started to see this world in a different light. The human world is pretty cruel, huh? But that was nothing compared to what he was about to say next. However, there is something even more important than a hero's rank. That would be the bloodline. Dare had some experience with this. The purer your blood, the stronger you are. Alex clarified the origin of this. Yes. The first people to save the world 66,585 years ago were two saviors, the hero and the saintess, their children and their children's children, and so on. Their descendants continued to maintain the bloodline. Next, he explained, to further stabilize the holy blood, they measure how much of it remains in the family lines. The purer the blood, the stronger the aura they can use. The one with the purest bloodline becomes the hero, fights the demon generals, and has won 665 times. Hearing this, Dare had a question. "So then, you use the purity of a person's blood as a measuring stick or something? So whoever has purer blood gets a higher rank?" Faced with such a difficult question, Alex didn't know what to say and just fell back on the origin. There are some exceptions, but generally the purer the blood, the stronger they are. At this point, Dare was even more confused and couldn't figure it out. What does pure and impure blood have to do with anything? Sounds like some blood pledge. I was stuck, trapped in an egg for 85 years because of that war. Alex grew tense again and reminded him, everyone takes it very seriously. They put their lives and their pride on the line for it. Dare was getting tired of paying attention and dismissed it all. Whatever. Hearing this, he didn't know what to say, and just fell silent. Then Dare, with great conviction, concluded, "In the end, the hero and the demon king will fight each other. Everyone has been fighting for 60,000 years just because of that saying." He understood what that saying was, because it was a promise. But Dare, completely relaxed, wondered, can't they just live a normal life? Suddenly, at that very moment, he saw something in the sky. "What's that strange thing, Alex? Look, there's a fluffy thing fluttering around." Alex turned to see him playing happily. "That's a butterfly, sir." Duh stood there, completely amazed by this strange new thing. A butterfly? But just then, a cold gust of wind blew the butterfly away, leaving him with a sense of longing. He turned to Alex, his curiosity piqued again. "What was that?" "The thing that just blew by and messed up my hair." Alex calmly replied, "That's the wind, sir." Understanding what it was, he wanted to learn more. "Then what's that thing up there? The thing that's been hanging above our heads this whole time?" He raised a hand to the sky, squinting in the harsh sunlight, and wondered. That round thing that hurts my eyes when I look directly at it. He glanced up as well and calmly said, "That is the sun, sir." Not stopping there, Duh quietly sniffed his surroundings. "What is this sweet fragrance? It makes my heart flutter." Alex also breathed it in. "That is the scent of spring, sir." Hearing the answer, Duh understood more. The scent of spring? "Alex, you've lived a very long time, haven't you?" Unexpectedly, as he said this, Alex's expression grew somber. "Yes. I was born after the First Great War, because we 7 dukes were born in the demon world." At this, Duh also grew pensive about life. "So ever since the First Great War, you've come here once every 100 years, haven't you? It must be wonderful. This place is called the Surface." At this, Alex paused for a moment and turned to look back as Duh began to recount his own miserable life. The former Demon King probably never got to experience things like this. If everything had gone according to plan, I would have been trapped for more than 2 centuries before ever setting foot on the surface. My destiny was to die at the hands of a hero I'd never even met. Luckily, I ran away. He then smiled happily. The Demon King is a job that should just disappear. Don't you agree? Hearing this, Alex grew pensive and didn't answer. Seeing this, Duh became dejected and lay down to sleep. Tisk, whatever. I'm going to sleep. Wake me up when we arrive. I'm only saying this just in case. But if you take me back to the demon world, we'll both die. As if understanding everything, Alex replied, "Yes, my lord." After a long time, the wheels stopped turning and Alex called out, "My lord, we have arrived." As for him, he was woken from a drowsy sleep. "Huh? We're here already?" He immediately began describing the surroundings. "This is the place you described, sir. A small trading hub outside of any military zones. A peaceful village. A rural village called Jorik." Hearing the name, he seemed to ponder for a moment, still half asleep. Jorik? Not bad. After that, Duh began to survey the area. "What about the heroes?" Alex had scouted this place long ago. "There are only 2 families, sir. One grade 3, a Gamma-class family, and one defective family." Hearing this, he felt a bit relieved and looked around. "It seems there isn't a single D-rank clan here." He explained, "If there were a D-rank family in every castle, our demon army would never dare venture to the surface." Hearing this, he looked a little disdainful. "Are D-ranks really that strong?" He answered without hesitation, "Yes." Duh seemed contemptuous of their power. "Tisk, a bunch of cowards." Suddenly, there was some excited chatter from outside. "Hey, have you heard? The Castle of Trials was attacked by a dragon. How could it do such a thing? I heard they still haven't caught the dragon, so don't go anywhere near there." "I've heard about that too. They say half the castle was burned to the ground. Weren't dragons supposed to be extinct for ages? How can this be? Is the age of dragons returning? If that's the case, this is terrible." After hearing their story, he turned to Alex and asked, "Hey, I thought dragons were neutral." Alex himself didn't know about this either. I thought so too. The last time I came into the surface was 85 years ago, so something must have happened since then. Over on the other side, the townspeople were urging each other, "We need to quickly inform St. Marcius and ask them to send a D-rank hero." Meanwhile, Alex had led Duh to a grand hotel. "Sir, this is the finest hotel in the area, sir. Let's stay here." Duh looked around the place with some acceptance. "This is a hotel? Well, it's not like we have any other choice. Anyway, from now on, don't call me Lord anymore." Alex, a bit confused, asked, "Sir?" He then explained further, "How long do you intend to keep calling me your lord? Let's book a room first." He just obeyed. "Yes." They stepped inside and were greeted warmly by the hotel owner. "Welcome, sirs, to the Alex." He stepped forward. "Book a penthouse for us." "Our young master is very picky." The owner looked down on the 2 of them, thinking, "What kind of clothes are those? Are they a bunch of hicks from the countryside?" But on the outside, he put on a polite facade. "You must have come from far away, so you may not know. The penthouse is very expensive." Without another word, he pulled out the treasure he'd gotten from a Chroma castle. It left the owner completely stunned. He then hurriedly turned and called for an employee. "Holby, escort our guests to their room now." That employee rushed out so quickly he tripped and fell. It was Holby. "This idiot right here, sir." "I'm sorry." The owner saw this and urged him, Shut your mouth and escort our honored guests upstairs. Quickly. Jack shyly composed himself and started to guide them. Hello, my name is Jack Panholby. Please, just call me Jack. I'll carry your bags up. Please, this way. As he carried the luggage on his shoulder, he chatted cheerfully. It's a bit noisy right now because of the news about the trial castle. To think a legendary dragon would suddenly appear. However, you don't need to worry. A very famous, legendary A-rank clan, almost G-rank, is staying here. Hearing that, Alex relaxed a bit. Well, that's good then. After they arrived, Jack opened the door to a magnificent penthouse suite and introduced it. Please, come in. This is the crown jewel of our golden pavilion, the penthouse. He carried the luggage inside as he continued. To be honest, this is the first time I've ever been assigned to such distinguished guests. I don't know if it will be to your liking, but I will do my absolute best to serve you, so if you need anything at all, please just call me. Suddenly, at that moment, Dare called out to Jack. Hey! But still oblivious, he replied cheerfully, Yes? He was startled by the unexpected question. You have the blood, don't you? Jack was a little anxious, but still confirmed. Yes. I noticed earlier, but wanted to be sure. No wonder you seemed different. For someone with the blood, your physical strength is incredibly weak. And since you're working here, you must be from the fallen family of the two heroic clans in Jorik, right? Jack wanted to say something, but Dare kept talking. Your clan is nothing but pure descendants. What is your blood purity level? Bombarded with questions, Jack stammered slightly. Oh, Unfortunately, I'm an F rank, a defective product. Unexpectedly, at that very moment, a blast of fire erupted, shocking them. When they looked up in confusion, they saw it was a legendary dragon. Everyone saw that the dragon had attacked this place. They immediately screamed and fled. A dragon is invading! To their surprise, Jack stood his ground, shielding the two of them. Sirs, you have to run! Without a trace of fear, Dare turned and calmly asked, Didn't you say the dragons were peaceful? Alex angrily retorted, I said I wasn't sure, didn't I? Jack was a little bewildered that they were still arguing in such a dire situation. Hey! As he stood there confused, his eyes had changed at some point. This is bad. He stepped forward. It's all right. Jack Panholby, you will become my aide. So, become a hero. Jack still didn't understand what was happening. Dare continued to advance, persuading him. In any case, I was looking for a hero. This must be fate. Accept my offer. I will grant you the wealth and fame you desire. I will erase your title as a failure. You can either live out the rest of your life in waste, or you can accept my proposal and change your destiny. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He recalled the whispers about him since he was a small child. A blood soldier? How can an F rank possibly be a blood soldier? I don't know why they even bothered having a child. In the end, he's just a failure. That failure is lucky he hasn't starved to death. He also remembered the sight of him and his brother abandoned by their relatives, crying. Big brother, where did Mom and Dad go? We're so hungry. Thinking back to that, a thought sparked in his mind. An opportunity? Finally, after considering it, he dropped to his knees and pleaded, Please, take me into your service, my lord. I am but a commoner, but I will devote my entire being. I will not let you down. If you wish it, I will offer you my very soul. Hearing this, Dare was immensely pleased and smiled with satisfaction. I was just about to ask you that. Then, he immediately issued a difficult challenge. All right then, today will be your first battle. Go hunt that dragon. Jack looked at the frightening, fire-breathing dragon and wondered, shouldn't we start with a goblin or something? Immediately after, Dare simply held out a contract, surprising Jack. Then let's form a pact. But after reading the contract, Jack felt it was completely unreasonable. This feels like an entirely one-sided contract. His eyes were now glowing red with intent. Sign it. If you accept the pact, the contract will be complete. Jack hesitated as he read the unfair terms of the contract. Just as he was hesitating, he saw the very thing he wanted most appear: fame and fortune. Without a second thought, he signed the contract. Seeing him sign the contract, Dare gave a satisfied smile. He then pointed to the red dragon and challenged him. Well then, it's time for your debut. Kill that dragon! Jack, not understanding what was happening, panicked at this daunting challenge. What? Just then, Alex called over to remind his master. Humans normally can't kill a dragon, you know. Of course, Dare knew that and had another idea. I know. He just needs to pretend he's killing it, and I'll be the one to actually do it. The other two didn't understand the idea at all, so he explained his new plan. First, Alex will go and greet the dragon, then he'll drop it in front of that reject. At that moment, the new product will swing his sword at the falling dragon. A reject will swing his sword at the falling dragon. People will see it and think, he saved us, he's a hero, wow, so cool. After all, he had calculated everything perfectly. Alex had a different thought. So, that reject will come and kill the dragon that's attacking me. But won't people be suspicious if an F-rank person suddenly kills a dragon? Besides, won't having a D-rank hero as a partner make you stand out too much to live peacefully? Unexpectedly, after hearing this, Dare didn't reconsider at all. Instead, he turned to look at Jack with a greedy glint in his eye. This look made Jack jump. Why are you suddenly looking at me like that? Without asking Jack's permission, he suddenly ripped off his clothes, making Jack startle and blush. Then he took a large bucket and used his eye power to create 2 holes in it. Once finished, Dare placed it on Jack's head, leaving him completely bewildered. After putting it on, Dare excitedly and proudly announced, "Behold, the masked hero appears!" Now Jack didn't have a single scrap of clothing to cover his body. All he had was a leaky pot and a cape made from a waiter's uniform. Blushing with embarrassment and confusion, he asked, "What is this?" Dare stated bluntly, "A hero has to wear a cape and hide his face, of course. Now no one will notice the appearance of a mysterious hero. Isn't it brilliant?" Alex was also standing by the wall, ready to go. "All right then, I'll bring the dragon over." Finding it reasonable, he agreed. "Okay." With everything ready, Dare turned back excitedly. "Let's go, Jack." As for Jack, he was forced to agree but still hesitated. Are we really going out like this? To fight a dragon?" Seeing his hesitation, Dare immediately started looking around for something. After a moment, he spotted a wooden stick. He quickly fashioned it into a weapon and tossed it to Jack. "Here, a holy sword!" Jack received the hastily made sword. It felt a bit heavy for him, and he trembled, unable to hold it steady. At that moment, Dare's expression changed as he instructed, "Just stand still and hold that broomstick. Even when the dragon is right in front of you, after that I will give you fame and money beyond anything you could ever use." Jack stood there as if he understood, but his feelings told a different story. Jack felt like he couldn't comprehend what was happening. Suddenly, he clenched his fist as if he could destroy anything in his path. Right after that, Jack let out a yell as his own power burst forth. It was an extreme desire, perhaps coming from something deep within Jack's blood. It turned out to be the instinct of a hero, lying dormant within his red blood cells. His heroic bloodline yearned to tear the demon lord before him to shreds. But Dare, seeing him unleash his power, was extremely pleased. However, not knowing what was happening, this is what Jack thought. His brilliant eyes, and my desire to see them, I'm starting to feel courageous, as if I can really do this. Fame and money. With that thought, he immediately ran off to carry out his mission. "Yes, master!" Dare was also pleased to see him being so obedient. "Go, my minion." Meanwhile, on the other side, the legendary dragon was still continuously breathing fire on the people. The poor citizens could only run and scream, "Help me!" Alex was already in position, obstructing the dragon's fire breath. The dragon, angered at being hindered, shot a blast of fire right at Alex, which he dodged. He then moved to a corner and unleashed his power. His eyes gradually changed as he watched the dragon, calculating. The dragon, having been hit in the eyes by the attack, was still acting recklessly. It ferociously wanted to attack right at that moment. Alex ripped off his cloak, revealing numerous long hidden arms. No longer holding back, Alex attacked the dragon, landing on its body and causing it to startle from the impact. As soon as he landed, Alex executed his plan with his multiple hands. In just an instant, his many hands had reached the dragon's fatal weak point. After getting a firm grip, Alex spoke. "Dragon, I have your heart. You'd better not resist me or my command. I'll ask you first." He didn't waste any time and asked directly, "Why have you appeared in this place? Don't dragons and humans have a pact?" But when he glanced down, he was surprised and froze. A strange object had appeared, something Alex didn't recognize. "What is this?" Right after that, the dragon spoke what it knew in a strange language. But Alex understood it all perfectly and demanded, "How does a dragon like you know that filthy language? What are you?" Something was wrong. But just then, the dragon, rampaging wildly as if it had lost all control, Jack had finally arrived at the scene, ready to fight. But despite his tough talk when he saw the devastation, he was still trembling in fear. Just as he stood there shaking, the townspeople noticed him, wondering where on earth he'd come from. Who is that? Why isn't he running for cover? Someone else saw him, looking like a scared mouse, and had no faith in him at all. Does he really plan to fight that dragon all by himself? Is that guy supposed to be a hero or something? If the previous comments weren't bad enough, someone's ridicule made him blush and cover his ears. Isn't his whole look a little creepy? Or maybe he's just a creep. Jack's face flushed with indignation. He didn't dare move forward. It was just too humiliating. Fear and shame swirled within him. Just when he was completely lost, Deus appeared to cheer him on. "Go, masked hero, go! Save our Jory!" Jack was a little moved to see him cheering him on. "Lord Deus!" Hearing this encouragement, the townspeople immediately changed their tune with Jack and started praising the masked hero. "A real hero has come. He's a hero. Sir Hero." This gave Jack a boost of confidence and mental strength, and he shyly thanked everyone. After being praised, he regained his resolve, gripping the holy sword tightly. "That's right," he thought. "This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. I can't let it slip away. Jack, fame and fortune." Meanwhile, up above, things with the dragon weren't going smoothly. It wasn't following Alex's plan and was growing more and more frantic. Seeing this, he began to realize this was going to be difficult. It seems controlling it in this state will be difficult. There was no other choice. In the end, Alex had to use White Demon's Grasp and Prison on the dragon. Struck by both techniques at once, the dragon reeled from the blow, screaming in agony. And to finish it off, he had to use his final move. This was it. Heart-piercing strike. This technique was a much more powerful blow, making the dragon cry out in even greater pain. But unexpectedly, at that very moment it repelled Alex's power, catching him completely off guard. Then, it spoke in a strange voice, uttering incomprehensible words. "Prepare, T. Has surely seen. The dead one has returned here." Lies. After speaking those bizarre words, the dragon's eyes changed ominously. An instant later, it counterattacked, trying to force its way into Alex's very being. It was the dragon's essence, now inside him, that was speaking. "So that's what's happening." Deus, sitting below, noticed Alex wasn't returning as planned. He started to get impatient. "What are you doing up there? Hurry up and get down here, the audience is waiting." He started to get annoyed, complaining, "What are you doing sculpting a dragon up there? Why is it taking you so long to kill one measly dragon?" The dragon's eyes flashed with a purple light. Its pained groans gradually faded into silence. Its entire body was bound by long, writhing tendrils, unable to break free. It slowly descended from the sky. Seeing this, Deus, resting his chin on his staff, called out, "Pathetic." Startled, Jack turned around. The kid's face was still flushed from embarrassment, but Deus paid it no mind. "Get ready. It's almost here." He didn't forget to add a reminder. "Make sure you time your swing perfectly." The dragon gradually descended from the sky, heading right for where Jack was standing. Sparks of fire were already gathering in its mouth. Suddenly he called out, "Lord Deus!" A worried expression appeared from under his helmet. "I don't want to die." Deus let out a low chuckle. Though his expression was still mocking, his words were completely serious. "Deus, I give you my word of honor. No matter what happens, I will not let you die." Jack's eyes regained their resolve. Something inside the boy had just awakened. Jack gripped his broomstick tightly. "That's right. I can do this." With that thought, he raised his staff and yelled, "Moonlight style, first movement!" Back with Alex, half of his body was now covered in strange tendrils. Right after that, a light suddenly burst from his left eye. Alex screamed in agony as a cluster of hands abruptly appeared overhead. Purple eyes opened in the palm of each one. They lunged towards Alex, but the willful hands immediately grabbed at him again. He used his power to hold them back. His other eye remained untouched. He glanced up. This is getting a little troublesome. He looked down coldly at the burning city below. He called out the name of his technique. 100 demon hands, celestial whip. As the words left his lips, the hands around him began to spin violently. The hands with the purple eyes were severed. Seizing the opportunity, Alex grabbed the thing clinging to his eye and pulled it away with all his might. Deus glanced up at the dragon in the sky. It was getting closer and closer. He chuckled and whispered, "You should take your time, or our little hero might get crushed." Alex couldn't hear what his master below was saying. He was still struggling to rip the grotesque thing from his face. Suddenly, the thing flashed with light. No matter how hard Alex struggled, the dragon continued its descent. The townspeople inside their homes saw it coming and screamed their heads off. "A dragon! It's attacking! Everyone run!" Terrified screams echoed everywhere. "Get out into the hall! Hurry up! The dragon's getting closer and closer. It's coming right for us." Seeing it descend so quickly, Deus was confused. "It's coming down here. Alex?" He frowned, puzzled. "What are you doing?" I said slow down. Suddenly, his expression turned to one of surprise. Deus could now clearly see Alex's predicament. The dragon's face loomed larger and larger. In this life-or-death situation, Jack stood his ground, holding the only weapon he had left. "No matter what happens, I'll stand firm and take it down with a single strike." Suddenly, a memory from his past flashed through his mind. "Jack, watch closely." A man holding a sword was speaking to a much younger Jack. "This moonlight swordsmanship is the secret art of our clan. You must learn it. What if the Demon King's army invades our world?" Little Jack's voice was sad. "The other kids in the village say I can't be a demon slayer, and that our family can't do it either?" the man gently countered. "That's not true, son. It doesn't matter what anyone says. Our holy Bic clan carries the sacred blood of heroes. You will absolutely become a demon-slaying hero, so just keep training hard." As he finished speaking, the man let out a few coughs. Hearing the man's encouragement, little Jack grinned from ear to ear. "Yes, father." Sweat was pouring down his face. He immediately lifted the broom and shouted, "First form, moonlight return." Alex succeeded in pulling the strange thing off his face. Deus clasped his hands together, whispered something, and then yelled out the name of his technique. His red eyes glowed brightly. The dragon slowly landed. A sharp golden glint flashed in Jack's eyes, filled with determination. He swung his blade in a brilliant arc, calling out its name. "Demon King Slash!" As the slash cut a straight path, drops of the dragon's blue blood flew through the air. The dragon was knocked aside as the townspeople had already evacuated the nearby buildings. The buildings shattered as it crashed into them. Jack squeezed his eyes shut, not daring to open them. When he couldn't feel or hear any movement, the boy peeked open his eyes only to find himself covered in dragon blood. Stunned, the boy turned his head. The hero realized he was surrounded by dark blue blood. Suddenly, a voice called out, "Hey, hero!" A crowd of townspeople were cheering from their windows. "He killed the dragon! Our savior! A hero like that, the gods must have sent him. Long live the hero! Hero!" Being praised by so many people for the first time, the boy couldn't help but feel flustered. From a distance, Deus cleared his throat, getting his attention. "Shouldn't you change your clothes and get out of here?" "Huh?" The masked hero, Jack, jumped. "Right," he replied, then scurried away. Alex clung to a cross-shaped staff on a rooftop. Something strange was stuck to his face. It was black, with strange patterns. His one remaining red eye glanced to the side. The dead dragon lay on the ground. Alex looked at it and thought to himself, "The one we thought was dead has returned." The next morning, sunlight streamed down. Deus stretched his entire body. I slept well. Just then, someone placed a cup on the table. "You're awake, sir? Here's some coffee." Alex, back to his normal appearance, smiled and said, "They say people should start their day with a cup of coffee." Before he could take a sip, someone burst in. "Sir Patia, we have a problem!" Deus repeated, confused. "Sir Patia!" Jack's young face flushed bright red. Beads of sweat dotted his forehead. "The entire village is searching for the masked hero. They say they want to officially name him the village hero." He ignored Jack's words and focused on something else. "What happened to your clothes?" The boy laughed, scratching his head. "The village was wrecked by yesterday's disaster, so I was just helping the residents clean up. Besides, the pay for manual labor is pretty good." Deus took a sip of coffee. "No matter. Everything is still going according to my plan." His eyes narrowed in the bright sunlight. He said with a relaxed air, "Waking up under the sun, drinking aromatic coffee, They were in a house that was cracked all over, its ceiling long gone. Mornings in the mortal realm really are wonderful, aren't they? The coffee is made from that dragon's tongue and left eyeball. I'm so glad it's to your liking, sir. Outside, the townspeople were rebuilding their houses amid the shouts of children. Hurry up! Can we get some help over here? Oh no, my house. Mommy, where are you? They continued to work tirelessly. Oh, this is so heavy. Stop whining and move faster unless you want to be here all night. Just a little more effort. Here, eat something before you get back to it. Thanks. Make way, make way. A boulder was set in a carrier on someone's back. Let's go. An old man shouted, Jack, hurry up, there's still a whole pile left. Jack laughed and replied, Coming. From afar, Dea stared intently at Jack. They're trying to rebuild this pathetic little village. Even a worthless failure can be diligent. Alex stood beside him, his face expressionless. Yes, he said. I spoke with him yesterday. Jack told me he's been working all kinds of jobs since he was a child. His family is poor, and raising a hero is expensive. Laundry, cleaning, fixing pipes, digging graves. There's almost nothing he hasn't done. He's even worked in a pub. After a moment of thought, Dea suddenly said, All right, that settles it. He explained, We found our hero. Moving around is a hassle anyway. Let's just start with this village. This place may be small and boring, but I've grown to like it. This will be our starting point. He suddenly said, then cheerfully started walking away. Shall we go? The rest is up to Jack. Alex asked, confused. Go where? Deus's face was positively beaming. To sell the dragon hide, of course. Isn't dragon hide expensive? It's used to craft gear, right? Our goal is to be in the top 2%. Alex then said something that shattered his hopes. The Hero Bureau took it all last night. As expected, his master yelled, What? Alex calmly explained. Because the dragon corpses were too heavy for ordinary people to move. Deus was so furious that his body began to transform. Damn it, then what was the point of me killing it? His fingers twitched. Let's go, Alex asked fearfully. Sir? Where are we going now? His master's face was no longer handsome. To tear those bastards at the Hero Bureau to pieces. Alex panicked, screaming internally. Oh no! He hurriedly called out to him. The demon was flashing a terrifying grin. Wait, master, he thought in terror. The Hero Bureau is the hero's main headquarters, no matter how powerful my lord is, fighting them alone. And besides, if they find out the demon lord isn't in the demon realm, I'm screwed. He tried to calm down and convince his dim-witted master. Master, you said you'd fight alongside the heroes. Deals, still furious, yelled, So what? In the face of his anger, Alex calmly explained with a smile, In the human world, you have to register with the Hero Bureau to become a hero. The Hero Bureau. Without it, who would recognize you as a hero? Hearing that, Deus's face froze. Man, his expression right now looks so damn stupid. Deus was gradually convinced. I just stopped the demon race from committing genocide, didn't I? After thinking it over, Deus calmly wrung his hands. All right, let's go there then. Just when Alex thought he had succeeded, his master changed his mind again. He stuck out his long tongue, a murderous aura slowly appearing around him. I'll compensate for the loss with the neighboring country. Hearing this, Alex gave up. What? I thought you were going to be a hero. His excited voice rang out. We'll set off tomorrow. Alex groaned wearily. What? How about we just go back underground? As Alex was driving the carriage, he suddenly called out, Lord Deus! The one behind him said nothing, so he had to call out again, Lord Deus! Still no reply. He was getting pissed. Alex angrily shouted, Lord Deus! The other person, also unable to stand it anymore, finally answered, What? His brows furrowed. You've had enough of your tour of the mortal world. Why don't we just go back to the demon realm? The entire demon realm is awaiting your return. Your destiny arrives in 25 years. We don't have time to waste. You must quickly learn the demon lord arts and become the supreme ruler. The childish master closed his eyes. That's none of your business. Do I have to do everything you people want? I'm sure a demon lord will show up and attack the human world eventually. Alex, having regained his composure, said, That's inevitable. For the 665 demon lords before you, both the demon realm and humanity have accepted it as the natural order of things. Hearing this, Deus felt a bit annoyed and retorted, If everything went your way, What would be the point of having gods? I'm just doing this to see what it's like. Think again and accept it. There will be no more demon lord. Having just calmed down, Alex spun around and snapped back. In that case, get married. At least you have to produce the 666th demon lord. Anyone will do, huh? Deals retorted cynically, cursing at him. Anyone will do? You dare say that to me? You really are a devil. Get lost! After being yelled at by his master, Alex spoke seriously. Well, unless you give us a successor, I'm not leaving. Hearing that, Deus casually replied, Fine by me, like this. You can just stay here and be my attendant forever. He still didn't give up and returned to the previous topic. How about I find a wife for you then? What about a woman who's a good match for you? Even though he was a demon, Deals was annoyed. If you mention marriage one more time, I'll destroy the demon realm with my own hands. A moment of silence passed over the peaceful land. Suddenly, Deals asked a vague question. Is that possible? Even though Alex was intelligent, he didn't understand. What are you talking about, my lord? His face was now suspiciously flushed. That princess from before, Alex asked dumbly. Which princess? He just chuckled vaguely. You know, Alex was at a loss. Unable to hold it in any longer, Deus's face turned beet red as he waved his hands up and down. What I mean is, can a human and a demon have a child together? He calmly replied, Of course they can. Suddenly, a biology lesson began. The way humans and demons reproduce is exactly the same, you see. Normally, a male's testicles will produce semen. When the sperm meets a female's egg, an embryo is formed. The child will then be born after 37 to 42 weeks. Suddenly bombarded with a mountain of information, Deals stared blankly, a bit of drool even trickling from the corner of his mouth. He held up a hand to stop the sex ed lesson. He couldn't help but find the other's childish nature amusing. Ah, yes. And besides, if you wish, you can also transmit the demon seed into another's body. Alex's expression at this moment was just like a pervert's. In that case, intercourse will definitely result in pregnancy. Even a deep kiss has up to a 50% chance of pregnancy, and a light kiss has a 25% chance. Deus asked innocently, What? Even a light kiss can cause pregnancy? Alex continued to provide new information. Just holding hands can get someone pregnant, too. Deals sprawled out, his face full of curiosity. What is wrong with this body? The demon seed, I almost got into real trouble. It feels like this body was born just to perpetuate the species. Damn you, Alex. The purpose of this body is all too clear, to kill and produce heirs. The more I learn, the more I hate it, Alex said with a cold expression. This body is blessed. You are the hope and savior of our demon realm. This perfect body was bestowed upon you by a god. Deus immediately retorted, Blessed my ass, I'm just another demon, born only once every 1,000 years. I do not like this feeling of being expected of. What about my opinion? Suddenly, a loud scream echoed from a distance, making the two demons turn their heads to see the figure of a woman being chased by a group of men. The men behind her were laughing, shouting, and grinning lewdly. Hurry up, get her! The beautiful girl, sobbing, begged, Help me, I'm being chased by bandits. Alex calmly spoke up. Well now, a beautiful lady is in danger. I have to help her. Deus nonchalantly asked, Why should we? He had to reply, You never know, my lord. It might turn out to be a good thing. Deus asked suspiciously, Don't you find this suspicious? Alex still didn't understand his master's train of thought. He voiced his own question. She's suddenly running towards us, asking for help. Alex breaks the fourth wall completely. The damsel in distress trope is a classic in the fantasy genre. What's the problem? Hearing this, Deus had to explain more clearly. No, there's nowhere to live around here. So where did they come from? Even if they came from the forest, it's very far from here. More importantly, you think they haven't noticed us? While they were chasing that girl? Deus sprawled out, questioning him. You set this up, didn't you? Alex turned his head. What are you talking about, my lord? Trying to use that girl to get me to produce an heir. He smirked, rejecting the man's words. My lord, what kind of person do you take me for? I am Alex, the greatest strategist in the demon world. I would never think of something so terrible. Suddenly, a strangely dressed girl ran up, grabbing the side of the carriage, and earnestly begged the two for help. She looked at Deus with teary eyes like a frightened little rabbit, pleading, You two brave warriors! I'm being chased by bandits! Please, save me! Afraid of getting into trouble, Deus was indifferent. We're not brave warriors. I'm a hero's sidekick. Hearing this, the girl was overjoyed, as if she'd struck gold. Her tears flowed even more fiercely. Sir Hero's sidekick, please save me. The bandits want to capture me. She tried to appeal to Deus's pity, but he couldn't care less about things that weren't his business. Besides, we're a high-level party. We only hunt dragons. We don't do trivial jobs like this. Seeing this, her face darkened and she cursed under her breath. Damn it, why are you so picky? Deus saw this unfamiliar chick pop out of nowhere, asking for help, and then copping an attitude, and knew this broad hadn't been properly schooled yet. Furious, he decided to give her a piece of his mind, his own special version of it. Did you just curse at me? Seeing him call her out, the girl immediately hit the play innocent button. Huh? What on earth? No, I was just begging for your help. While that guy Deus was giving the girl a lecture, an axe suddenly flew towards him, as fast as your mom's slipper when she catches you stealing her credit card for V-Bucks. Seeing it, Deus felt like he was witnessing that godly speed again, which made him freeze on the spot. He just stared blankly, completely stunned. Snapping out of it, he turned to look in the direction the axe was thrown from. A group of menacing old geezers, grinning from ear to ear, were charging towards him on the 3 most miserable-looking horses in the world. Look at that kid's pale face! If you don't want to die, take your garbage luggage and get lost! What's with that outfit? You from the future or something? Annoyed that his lecture to the girl was interrupted before he could finish, and on top of that, they dared to damage his stuff. My precious luggage is broken. You will burn for eternity. Deus shot them a sideways glare. He had already marked the ringleader's death date. He immediately declared the man's fate. With a single light wave of his hand, the old ringleader was incinerated by his magic flames like barbecued jerky. The man writhed in agony, screaming and shouting at his underlings, "Quick, put out the fire!" But this was the fire of someone who'd been getting schooled since birth. His magic power wasn't just for show. As for the underlings, every single one of them looked like they had just overdosed. It's no use. We can't put it out. As for Deus, he was getting really serious this time. You thought you could get away with bullying me? A murderous aura, like 10,000 daggers, gleamed in his eyes. No matter who you are or what divine spell you use, this flame will never stop burning. You won't be able to die either. You'll just burn like this forever. Until the end of the world. Anyone else? Who wants to be cremated with him? The glare sent every single one of them running for their lives. I'm sorry, please spare me. It's a demon, run! The girl on the side could only watch helplessly for their sake. Then she turned to look at Deus with eyes that seemed to have fully understood his lesson, full of admiration. But he was still annoyed and tried to shoo her away. The girl gave a wry smile. All the nuns have been taken as slaves, and the holy relic is also gone. Please exterminate the bandits and save the holy temple. Deus's face, which had been as cool as a cucumber just a second ago, instantly reverted to his dopey mode. No, I don't do trivial jobs. The girl below wished she could just strangle him right then and there. Instead, she crushed the carriage frame. He was still picking his nose nonchalantly. Alex, let's go. Alex. The girl tried to pique his interest one last time and succeeded. Did you just mention a dragon? Don't tell me you're an ally of that loincloth hero. The temple that's been taken over by bandits is the temple of the supreme true golden dragon god. If you drive them away, we will reward you with the helmet and armor of the golden dragon god. He'd already heard what the girl had to say. What was he still standing here for? With heavy step after heavy step, they climbed the stairs. That fellow stood there casually, sighing, but he was standing on Alex's back, letting him carry him up to the mountain peak. Alex was now panting like an ox, as the ordeal of climbing a mountain was already extreme. On top of that, he had to let that guy stomp on his back instead of being carried properly. He wished he could just be reborn into a new life to escape this torture. Sweat poured down Alex's face like he'd been in a shower. But something was suspicious. She's been running for 30 minutes straight. On a mountain this steep, that's not the stamina of a normal person. Dare smirked. It doesn't matter who she is or what she wants. But if she dares to tell me even half a lie, I'll skin her alive. He hesitated, looking at her. The true golden dragon god. So, dragons worship gods too? Not only did I have to carry this insane guy Dare, I also have to answer his questions. Alex had surely just won the award for the world's most miserable man. Well, it's quite similar to how you are worshipped in the demon realm. The true golden dragon is the dragon god who stands above all other dragons. For us, the noble dragonkin and the human race. And for all living things in this world, there is only one true God, the creator god who brought this world into being. Dare looked up at the sky. The sun was directly overhead. Well then, the gods certainly seem to favor humans. Demons and dragons are just supporting characters. He walked on helplessly. Do not doubt the gods. God is the one truth, perfect love. If we can obtain that grace, when the God's light shines upon us, we too will be favored. Dare unconsciously gazed into the distance. Much later, Alex, still carrying him, finally dragged them both to the mountaintop, his legs likely no longer in one piece. Dare stomped on him, making Alex stumble forward as if paving the way for him. You're so weak. After all the effort of carrying that guy up an entire mountain, he still gets criticized upon arrival. Surely no one had it worse than Alex. He remained sprawled on the ground as Dare walked ahead toward the cave. He tossed back a comment. You have to carry me on the way down too. A while later, the two reached a cave on the mountaintop. Alex felt like he could melt into a puddle, so exhausted he could only whisper, Master, be careful. Something feels off. He finally dragged himself to catch up with Dare. Dare, in contrast, was pumped full of energy and incredibly excited. Where are you bandits with the armor of the true golden dragon? Hand it over to me now! Though he was about to pass out from exhaustion, Alex still sensed that something wasn't right. As he looked around, a voice suddenly echoed from within the cave. A woman with a divine appearance descended. The light around her only concealed a wicked, violent nature. Her eyes, like those of a fiery red dragon, followed them from behind like a death sentence. You've had a difficult journey. It seems your subordinate is more perceptive than you are. What a grand entrance. But to someone as unhinged as Deer, it was merely an interesting eyesore. He mocked her. You look like the bandit who took over this temple. So where's the helmet and armor? The cave was now like a pocket of the cosmos, filled with the woman's magical flames. She sat on high, looking down at him and Alex like a judge at a trial. How dare you speak? Do you still not understand the situation you're in? Kneel before you stands! Annoyed by Deer's sarcasm, she roared, her eyes flashing with points of light. The dragon god, ruler of the dragon tribe and the mother of all dragons. The one and only true golden dragon! As if shocked by this new information, Deer's eyes widened in surprise, realizing something was off about her words. Alex warned him, The true golden dragon god, my lord, we're in serious trouble. Seeing their confusion only made her more delighted. You're surprised because this turn of events was beyond a coward like you to predict, aren't you? You foolish mortal. Her gaze seemed to burn holes through him and Alex. If you're scared, then start begging. I'm not an unreasonable person. Deer paused for a moment, thinking, A dragon god, huh? How interesting. The woman glanced at him. Have you finally understood? To atone for your sins, I command you. But Dare was about to disappoint her yet again. That smug face of Dare's was truly an insult to behold. The more dramatic the moment, the bigger his letdown. What are you babbling about? Dragon ruler, mother of dragons, whatever. What I mean is, I want some cool titles like that, too. Every time I introduce myself, it feels like something's missing. How about Dark Lord, top 2% of extraordinary men in Africa? What do you think? Alex thought, That's my master, all right. That guy even turned to banter with Alex. Unbelievable. Behind them, the woman was red with rage, looking like she wanted to mince the two fools right then and there. Enough of your nonsense! Beg for your life now! Don't you wish to apologize? I haven't done anything to you, have I? The brainless Dare asked. The woman pointed down at him as if passing judgment. Yesterday you killed a dragon, and I am the mother of all dragons. You killed my child! Dare just chuckled lightly. You're making such a big deal, just over that. Your little stunt made her so furious she stormed right up to him, getting in his face. Is that really all you've got? So you've chosen to die here, in the Golden Jade realm? Her eyes, now filled with hatred, shifted to Alex as she warned, Even a Demogorgon stands no chance against me. Alex, struggling against the intense flames, warned him urgently, The Golden Jade realm? Oh God, this is the true Golden Dragon's territory. We're on her home turf. This is extremely dangerous. That warning only delighted her more, her eyes gaining a new confidence. Your subordinate is quite knowledgeable. Kneel, you number 666. Seeing his defiance, she grew even more excited. You know who I am, and you still do this? His eyes now held a look that feared absolutely no one. A mess with me and die kind of look. A demonic grin stretched from ear to ear. If you're the true golden dragon, then I guess I can just peel your face off and wear it myself, huh? Get ready. I'm about to flay you alive. His excitement seemed to overwhelm her confidence. She faltered slightly. You dare? Her hesitation only fueled the wicked glee rising inside him. Cruelty and pleasure became one. Startled by his overwhelming killing intent, she finally became wary. Seeing this, he started to lose interest. Aren't you going to apologize for disappointing me? Confused by Duh's actions, the divine dragon roared in frustration, losing her composure. What the hell are you talking about? He replied nonchalantly. No, really. She was still annoyed, unable to understand his words. Duh remained calm, but a terrifying glint was hidden in his eyes. His tone and aura dripped with sarcasm, a warning of a hidden threat. I didn't come to the surface to cause trouble. I just wanted to quietly visit the village and befriend the heroes. But then your little brat showed up, breathing fire and destroying everything in that village. So what was I supposed to do? That was just self-defense. But when your kid was causing trouble, you didn't even bother to show up and stop her. And now you lure us here for revenge? What's that about? As his story unfolded, she seemed to be having a few realizations. With the same confidence, he stated calmly, You tricked us by pretending to be witches and robbers, and then you suddenly say, Ta-da! I am the divine dragon. Apologize before me. Did you think I would kneel and say, Oh, divine one, please forgive us this time? You think just because you're a divine dragon, you can do whatever you want? Are all dragons like this? You divine dragon. She was starting to feel helpless and annoyed by his constant rambling when, out of nowhere, that Alex guy decided to butt in. Picking up where Duh left off, Alex continued the lecture. Some of what he said is true. It's arrogant to think you're always right just because you have power. And when people naturally fight back, you brand them as wrong. What does that even mean? Furthermore, it was the dragons who forgot the peace treaty with the human race and violated it first. Now is the time for you to beg for forgiveness. As soon as he finished, Duh picked up the interrogation, but from his side. All right, as a divine dragon, are you going to apologize to the people of Joris Village for the sins your child committed or not? Hearing the two of them attacking her with questions from both sides, she started to get flustered. Duh switched back to his unhinged persona, firing off a taunt. See, bad kids are always the mother's fault. I'm not their real mother. Alex added his own jab, making her stammer. Are you trying to evade responsibility? You don't want to take responsibility, so you just blame us? Hey, do you have any shame at all? Just because the children are misbehaved doesn't mean their parents have issues. Don't you know that? You see? People who know nothing about their own children, who don't care about them. Yet when their kid causes trouble, they just say, but my child is so well behaved at home. It's because of people like you that all the other parents get a bad name. This isn't an issue you can just ignore. As a representative of the dragon race, Divine Dragon, you must apologize for violating the peace treaty because of one rotten dragon. You have to take responsibility and step down, don't you think? The two of them relentlessly lectured her until her eardrums felt like they were bleeding. In the end, they talked her into a state of stunned enlightenment, questioning her own existence. And finally, feeling like an idiot. People aren't usually this bad, right? Why do I feel like I did something wrong? With that said, the two relentless lecturers prepared to leave. That's right, you were wrong. So are you going to let us out of here or what? Wait, she called out. The divine dragon, embarrassed and flustered, asked, You've already come this far. Could you listen to one request of mine? Seizing the opportunity, Duh played hardball, making her freeze on the spot. You apologize first. Take it or leave it. It wouldn't kill you to apologize, would it? He glanced at her, waiting to see her reaction. She hesitated for a long time before she could speak. Wait, I already apologized. Suddenly, that guy's hand, Dare's hand, rested on the girl's head. His face was like a pervert's as he gleefully patted that woman's head. Humph, I don't particularly like it, but since you've apologized, I'll accept it. That woman. Seeing this, she got so angry she was sweating bullets at his insincerity. This is a bit weird, but I'll let it slide because I'm a generous person after all. Just as she was about to turn that guy into paste, he switched to his nice guy mode. So what do you want, Dragon God? This made her get serious too. To put it simply, dragon hunting. Hearing this, he hesitated a bit before asking again, So that's it? Dare's demeanor shifted again, this time to a creepy pervert, as he confirmed the woman's words. His hand once again rested on her head, but with more force this time, driven by the excitement in the dragon god's proposal. The golden dragon, a true dragon god, the law itself. A mother is asking me, the demon lord, to hunt her own children, the dragons? Yes, the woman replied, confirming it. I don't get what's wrong with him now. One second he's thrilled, the next he's furious, hitting the woman relentlessly. Do you think I'm an idiot? This is clearly a trap. You want me to believe that bullshit? You've lost your mind, you stupid dragon. No, it's not like that. Just as they were about to tear into each other, his wife, Alex, chimed in from out of nowhere, making them both stop. Is it because of those purple parasites? He explained his thoughts further. The more he understood, the colder his gaze became. It's clinging to the dragon's bodies, something like a parasite. That's probably what's making them go berserk. Hearing this, the other two finally let go of each other and got back to the main issue. She seemed to have a realization and continued, That's right, something isn't right. The peace-rejecting hotliners have signed a pact with the humans. Hotliners? Correct. The dragon from yesterday was also one of their victims. The two guys saw her point and let her continue. The hotliners are a group that has been harmed by humans, like losing their wives or children to them. Although it's unavoidable, they've been blinded by their rage. They attack villages by infecting the children living in peace with a strange and powerful magic I've never seen before, to reignite the war between humans and dragons. So you must capture them first, so that no more innocent children have to die miserably as tools of war. Dare thoughtfully continued her sentence. I understand what you're saying now. You call it hunting, but the problem is... The hotliners are manipulating peace-loving dragons, making them go berserk and recklessly attack humans. And you want me to capture them before they're killed by humans, right? She confirmed what he said. Dare suddenly asked, looking at her slyly, So what are you planning to give me in return? There has to be a fee for my services, you know. Just when it seemed the atmosphere had calmed down, the tension returned. The woman responded warily, What do you want? Dare then raised his hand, showing 5 fingers, making his demand with an air of absolute certainty. 5 dragon scales. Since ancient times, there have been weapons made from dragons. Every time I capture one of them, I'll take 5 dragon scales from them. How does that sound? In addition, some weapons and armor worth over 1,000 gold refined by dragon's breath. What do you say? She was so shocked by his offer that her jaw dropped. As if not believing her own ears, she asked again, What? Are you some kind of swindler? Think whatever you want, he said firmly, and with a snap of his fingers, a contract appeared. The contract states that Deal will accept the job and the Golden Dragon will pay the fee. A job description. Capture and punish the dragons that have brought shame upon human cities and castles and bring them to the Golden Dragon. The price, 5 dragon scales and weapons worth 1,000 gold for each one. Captured. Payment will be made the morning after the job is completed. If the contract is breached, you will become Dare's slave. You just need to state your name and the contract will be established. This is a deal with a devil. You'd better not take it lightly because you're betting your very soul on this. The dragon god was stunned. I know. Dare's words were like advice, but his eyes held a temptation that forced one to obey. Golden Dragon. Ong. The two of them sealed the contract. A cunning laugh escaped from that guy, Dare. Right now, he looked like a loan shark who had just scammed a debtor. The contract was signed, his wish fulfilled. He and his wife Alex casually turned to leave. Open the door. I'll have this sorted out in a few days. From behind her, the devil sincerely proposed, Please fulfill the terms of the contract. Please capture them alive. Don't cause any more death. Dare replied respectfully, Yes, dear client. And he walked out of the cave. The sky is the same, with the sun still in its place. Even though we were inside for a long time outside doesn't seem to have changed at all. Things didn't go as planned, huh? Alex replied curtly. That's right. Suddenly remembering something, his face went pale with panic as he tried to run back into the cave to find that divine dragon. His voice echoed, That divine dragon. But tough luck for him, that damned divine dragon had sealed the entrance long ago. He was fuming, endlessly cursing that wretched dragon. Damn it all, she still hasn't given me the golden dragon helm. His lackey, Alex, tried to chime in with some advice. We aren't dragons, so we can't return to the golden jade realm anymore. But he was brushed aside. That dragon, she tricked me again. His voice was stiff with a hatred so intense it felt like he wanted to tear the sky apart just to reach that damn dragon's ears. Someday, I will definitely rip that face of yours off. Someone shouted, "An arms dealer?" Deer confirmed it with his signature one-of-a-kind bored expression. That's right. His follower, Alex, wondered why. The kid next to Alex was also completely baffled. He was so upset his face was twisted, constantly questioning Dare, wishing he could just lecture him 24/7. Why are you selling weapons again, my lord? Did you abandon all of us and come to the human world just to sell us a few weapons? Dare's follower Alex wasn't having it and started scolding him, practically spitting as he spoke. When humans hunt baby dragons and turn them into weapons, do you feel anything then, huh? This is business, you brainless idiot! After explaining, he was overcome with capitalist ecstasy, his emotions soaring. Dragon scales. The very weapons the true golden dragon gave me. Oh my. How much am I going to make from this? I knew it all along. No. Actually, I was right for the first 2%. She said that as long as I caught dragons, she'd give me a pile of weapons. Isn't that basically giving them to me for free? A war breaks out every 100 years, so dealing in weapons is the most profitable business. It can never fail. Right? Seeing Dare's brainlessness increasing with no signs of stopping, Alex was completely bewildered. No. Without demons, how can there be a war? My lord, please think this through properly. The kid behind him agreed with Alex. Catching dragons is getting them for free? Annoyed, Dare turned back and dropped a subtle reminder that made him freeze. Besides, you idiot, do you still not know who I am? Then he turned, his eyes sharp as a hawk's, glowing with an evil red light. An inhuman, twisted smile distorted his face, just like his current state of mind. In any case, selling weapons is just a way to fund my real plan. I don't intend to be a merchant my whole life. Have you forgotten? One who watches from the shadows, and another who possesses all the weapons in this world. As if understanding the hidden meaning in Dare's words, Alex smirked smugly and affirmed, just as I thought. So that's how it is. You haven't forgotten about hell, my lord. Having enlightened his follower, Dare then gave the order. Well then, take that useless waste of space and find us a useful shop. Get going. Now more energized than a bull, Alex scurried off with the kid to carry out the mission Dare gave him. Yes, my lord. After the underlings left, his ambition was now greater than ever, his excitement bordering on perversion. Why must I continue this business, you ask? My ultimate goal is, of course, to build a building. To be the landlord of the greatest building in this fantasy world. I'm glad you're an idiot. A wave of pleasure washed over him. He lazily relaxed on the nearby bed, waiting for his two underlings to report back. The sunlight was still just as blinding. As he was leisurely enjoying the sun's rays, he suddenly felt the urge to recall the events with that guy, Jack. I'm so sorry, my rank is only F. I'm just a useless weakling. Then he remembered the cursed dragon, and the words of that damned divine dragon. But you must capture them alive to avoid further bloodshed. Dare was speechless, thinking more deeply about the future. Now I've created a stable source of income and saved that stupid hero. So I guess that's that. I just need to sit tight and I can get rich. But what is this empty feeling? Blood and slaughter. What if I kill everyone in this town? Would I feel better then? Then suddenly voices pulled him deeper into his thoughts. Kill them all, destroy the world, make humanity your slaves. Turn the human world into hell. Then you will end this cycle of rebirth and death, deep underground where the sun no longer shines, that repeats every 100 years. His gaze grew firmer. Composing himself, he closed his eyes and banished the voices. Go to sleep and shut your mouth. By evening, his lackey Alex had finally returned. A new weapons shop. Its previous owner died during the dragon invasion, and this shop was bought for a low price. Not bad. You found one pretty fast. I haven't even had a chance to sleep yet, Dare replied to this passable achievement. Having just woken up, Alex proudly boasted, Once I heard about the real plan, I was too excited to sit still. Dare smirked. Right, of course. Let's strive to follow our righteous plan. They both discussed the dilapidated weapon shop. If we get Jack to work on it, this place could become a pretty good store. In the middle of their discussion, he suddenly asked, Jack can repair houses? Alex immediately added, That's right. He told me he used to be a carpenter. The man looked into the distance and mused. Really? For someone so young, he's pretty amazing. Deuce casually asked again to confirm, But isn't a bloodline's rank passed down from generation to generation? I mean, even if a pure blood has a child, could that child still be F rank? Alex was quick to reply. That's right. And conversely, there are a few examples of a child of an F-rank hero and a saint becoming the ultimate victor. This made him ponder, so he asked Alex, "It's all random then?" Alex answered, "Yes." Deus sounded a little regretful. "So is there any hope for a lost cause? Just because a family is all F-rank, does that mean their child should be labeled F-rank too?" Alex thought that was a bit ambiguous. Although it's not a skill, wealth is inherited. A family that regularly produces high-ranking warriors or saints will have riches fit for a king. With that money, they can raise their child's hero rank or bloodline rank in various ways. After listening, Deus glanced over and asked with certainty, "So in other words, even if that child is F-rank, they can still become successful, is that right?" He replied sincerely, "Yes, but since Jack himself said he's F-rank, he must have already been officially ranked as a hero." Deus shot back at him. "Do you have any idea what I'm thinking right now?" He knew Deus was troubled, so he pretended to answer, "No, sir." Not getting the answer he wanted, Deus's calm demeanor shattered. He grabbed Alex by the head, his face turning red with rage. "You pathetic humans using money to decide your own hero ranks. Why do demons keep losing to people like you, huh? Why, you damn bastards!" He could only endure it helplessly, held like a chick. He stammered, I'm sorry." Deus let him go. "Ugh, never mind. The demon world isn't important anymore anyway. Hey, where did our hero go?" Elsewhere, at a warrior's noodle stall, Jack was working when he saw Deus and Alex approaching. He greeted them cheerfully. "Master, you're awake!" Seeing him there, the two asked, confused, "Jack, what's this? Why are you suddenly selling noodles?" He gave a wry smile and answered, "I have some free time at night, so I wanted to give it a try. Even so, the income is pretty good." Thump. Deus suddenly sat down on a stool and shamelessly demanded food. "Well then, give me a bowl of noodles." "Yes, master." And Jack really did it. His hands moved swiftly, and in no time, a bowl of noodles was ready. He placed it in front of him with great confidence. "Here you are, sir." The big guy was drooling, but he still looked skeptical. "Is that noodles?" He took a bite, slurped it down his throat, and it was heavenly. "This is delicious. Unbelievably delicious." "Really? Then I'll have some too." On the other side, Alex was no better. He was slurping it down like there was no tomorrow, and only now did he remember who made it. The two of them couldn't stop praising him. "Jack, this is amazing! Hey, Jack! Give up on being a hero! You should do this for a living." This made Jack feel embarrassed. "I'll take that as a compliment from you two." Seeing them eat so happily, he felt a joy well up inside him. A bright smile spread across his face, his eyes crinkling. From the bottom of his heart, he was sincerely grateful and appreciative of Deus for what he had done. "Master, thank you so much." He looked at him and said with conviction, "Because of you, I was able to buy uniforms for my younger brothers who attend the Warrior Academy. They were the only two kids without uniforms. That's why I was always so upset. They just acted like they didn't care. But when you gave us the money, they were so happy." Deus, who was in the middle of slurping his noodles, looked up when he heard Jack's thanks. He asked blankly, as if he didn't remember, "Warrior Academy?" "Yes, it might sound arrogant, but I'm sending both of them to a private elementary school for warriors. I might not be strong, but I'm confident they can become warriors. Real warriors. So I'm putting all my money into their future." Just as the mood was getting sentimental, a man's shrill voice cried out from somewhere. "What is this?" "There's a fly in my noodles," the man complained about the foreign object in his food. "Damn it! I didn't want to eat at this rundown shack in the first place. But I was starving, so I decided to just grab a quick bite. And look at this. I told you I didn't want to eat at a dirty place like this." Beside him, a whiny girl was also copying an attitude. The man harshly criticized Jack's stall. Seeing this, Jack explained in a panic, "I'm sorry, but there aren't any flies around here, sir." "Flies?" The man was already worked up, and upon hearing that, he threw the still hot bowl of noodles right at Jack. Jack cried out in pain. Nearby, Deus had started to notice the commotion. Seeing how ragged, skinny, weak, and small he was, the other guy took the chance to get in his face, yelling, "What? Are you saying I'm lying? Hey, you bastard, do you even know who my father is? All I have to do is say the word, and this diner will be shut down immediately." As he was running his mouth, the guy suddenly froze, as if he remembered something, and that something was his identity. Wait a minute. Isn't this guy from the Holy Beach family? You mean that influential family? Half of Jack's body was red and swollen from the thrown noodles, with plenty still clinging to his head and shoulders. Realizing who Jack was, the two of them started mocking him like a comedy duo. "Oh, I get it now!" The woman from the family sneered at him. The surrounding customers also started whispering. "Holy Beach? Oh my God, the Holy Beach family? What's going on?" Since when did a hero start working as a chef? Feeling hurt, Jack weakly corrected them. "It's not beach, it's beachy." Seeing this, the two monkeys escalated their taunts, making him feel profoundly insulted. "I know all about it. The pathetic Beach family. Their father came to my house begging for a job, and now you bastard, are selling this trash on the street? Ugh, how disgusting. Like father, like son. And he calls himself a hero? A noodle-selling hero." Having heard enough from those two, Dare slammed the table and asked casually, "Do I hear a fly buzzing around here?" Feeling insulted, the guy bristled and threatened him. "Huh? Did you just call me a fly? Are you asking me to rip your head off?" But unfortunately for them, it seems he and that hag chose the wrong day to go out. And on top of that, they were bullying one of his people. Without hesitation, he held out his hand, his eyes glowing red with murderous intent. The other two were confused by his bizarre gesture. "I guess I'll just kill a few flies then." With that one sentence, his eyes flashed red as he clenched his fist. The guy was crushed and deformed by an invisible force, while on the side, the sight shot straight through Jack's brain. As for his companion Alex, he watched the scene with complete calm, as if it were perfectly normal. But the other woman shrieked like a stuck pig. She panicked, clutched her dress in terror, and ran off screaming and crying, "Help me!" But oh, sweetie, how the hell do you think you're going to escape? His hand rose again, but this time a purple orb of energy appeared. His eyes flashed red once more. "So, you want to run?" That damsel was torn in two. He crushed her midsection, which had been stretched out of shape, and in an instant, that wench turned to dust. Then he made a badass declaration. "Those who do not respect the heroes, who risk their very lives to fight for you, do not deserve to live in this world." His companion Alex, sitting beside him, was at a loss for words. After settling things, Dare went back to eating as if nothing had happened. "Let's eat." Yes." All this amidst a crowd of wide, terrified eyes staring right at him. Among them was Jack. As he was about to take a bite, a piece of paper suddenly flew down from above and landed in his bowl of noodles. The note read, "A dragon has appeared at Leah Castle. You must depart immediately." After reading it, Dare slammed his chopsticks down on the table. He stood up, fired up with passion, and ordered Jack and his companion Alex to get ready to leave on their mission. "Hey, worthless, close up the shop. The first mission from your super important guest has arrived. Time to make some money." Jack didn't understand what was going on, but he obeyed without a word. Yes, sir." Under a clear, breezy, moonlit sky with few clouds and many stars, a horse galloped onward. It pulled a wooden cart behind it. The cart sped forward, the wheels making a clattering sound as they hit the gravel. Alex held the reins, driving with Jack sitting beside him, while Dare lay sprawled out imposingly in the back. As they made their way through the forest, he suddenly noticed Jack trembling with fear. Alex turned to him with concern and asked, "Are you scared?" Jack gave a weak laugh, rubbing the metal pot on his head. "Yeah, I guess so," he answered. "I never thought a person like me would ever fight orcs or goblins. Let alone a dragon. Before I met you and Lord Dur, I wouldn't have even dared to dream that one day I would get to fight. Before I met you and Lord Dur, I wouldn't have even dreamed it. That I'd one day be fighting orcs, goblins, and a dragon," he confessed. Alex looked over at him, speechless. Jack kept looking over at Dare, who was lying there picking his nose and yawning so wide he was drooling. "You might not believe me when I say this, but now whenever I look at Lord Dare, I feel like he always exudes this confidence, like, it's just a dragon. What's there to worry about? If I came face to face with it, I'd be frozen stiff with fear," he answered shyly. Alex spoke up, complimenting Jack. "It's good to be afraid." That confused Jack. Alex kept his gaze fixed ahead as he spoke, his eyes a pale red. "I don't know what you're thinking, Jack, But Lord Dare has already designated you as the hero, even if you don't always feel like one. You are without a doubt the leader of this adventure, so have some confidence." Alex's words moved Jack deeply. He replied bashfully, "Yes." Alex turned to Jack with a teasing smile. "What kind of leader sounds so meek? Speak up!" In response, Jack gave a loud, "Yes!" "All right," Alex announced. "We're coming up on a bend in the road. Turn here and we're almost at Castle Leia. Hold on tight, Jack. Whoa!" The cart was flying at breakneck speed. As it swerved, they were thrown to the side by the inertia. Before them stood Castle Leia. It was situated in a snowy, frozen land, encircled by a colossal white dragon. The sight made Jack gasp in astonishment. "It's huge!" Suddenly, the dragon roared. Its roar shook the very heavens and echoed through the clouds. Jack's heart sank with worry as he saw that the castle had been destroyed by the dragon. The entire castle. The dragon. It destroyed the whole thing? But what about the people inside? Alex, remaining perfectly calm, pointed toward the hillside and spoke reassuringly. "Calm down. Look, they've all gathered over there. A castle of that size. Must have had a few G-rank heroes around. They probably helped everyone inside escape." Jack breathed a sigh of relief. "Okay, that's good to hear." He was still lying there, arms crossed behind his head, as carefree as if this were all part of a script. "The stage is set, and it seems the audience is all here. It's showtime. Get ready, you useless piece of trash." Hearing that, the boy just stood there, stunned, his mind blank. "Yes, sir," he whispered weakly. In the distance, among the stream of refugees shivering in the biting wind, an old farmer clenched his fist. His furious gaze was fixed on the castle, now occupied by the giant white dragon. "Damn it all!" he rasped, his voice hoarse from the cold. Someone nearby asked, "Where did that dragon come from? Is this the apocalypse?" Another person called out, "Get warm blankets to the injured." An old man, his breath pluming in the air, exclaimed, "It's so cold! I feel like I'm going to freeze to death." A chubby man with one injured eye softly clasped his hands in prayer. "Oh, Lord, please help us." Someone nearby was annoyed by his prayers. He snapped, "Damn it, will you stop praying already?" Despite the man's scorn, he continued to pray earnestly. "Please make this blizzard stop. Oh, Lord, have you abandoned us?" The man who had mocked the prayer now stared at a distant light, saying, "Even the king has left us to fend for ourselves. Why would the gods be any different?" But the man with the injured eye continued to cry out, "Oh, Lord!" A hand was holding up a protective shield of golden light, and atop the large rock sat a sluggish, pot-bellied man. Below him, a mage was chanting to maintain the defensive shield. The fat man yelled, "It's so hot, it feels like a sauna in here!" The fat man's face was flushed and dripping with sweat, despite being in a snow-covered wilderness. He kept ordering, "Those heroes who went to find the Savior for help. Where are they all? Gods, it's scorching. We need to get back to the castle." The old mage, trembling, reported, "It's highly likely that the dragon has killed them all, sir. I can't make contact with a single one of them." The news sent the obese lord into a fury. He roared at the mage, "What? Then go do something about it yourself. At this rate, I'm going to die of heat stroke." As he was losing his temper, a shout suddenly echoed out. "Out of the way! Move it!" The obese man suddenly fell silent. He glanced toward the sound. They made a ridiculously cool entrance. Jack, in his heroic persona, wore a metal helmet, a red cape, and his legendary briefs. Wielding a broom, they charged forward majestically, terrifying the obese man into a panicked frenzy. Jack advanced, his eyes glowing from beneath his metal helmet. Raising his hand, he swung his weapon. Someone managed to stammer out, "A hero has arrived!" The cart, driven by Alex, flew right through the obese man, sending him reeling. The force of the impact made him foam at the mouth, his eyes bulging wide as he tried to choke out the word, "Hero!" The terrified lord screamed as his soldiers scattered in chaos. "Are you kidding me? Damn it, you're just some pervert in underwear holding a broom." "They're running away! Catch them!" he yelled, then looked at Jack with contempt. Even as Jack brandished his sword, tears of humiliation streamed down his face. "This is so embarrassing I could just die," he thought. Their attack shattered the shield, and a blast of cold air rushed in, making the fat lord shiver uncontrollably. He roared in fury, spraying saliva as he pointed at the mage. "Hey! It's freezing! Cast the spell again, now!" The mage, kneeling fearfully below the rock, replied, Yes, sir!" The fat lord roared again. "How dare you leap over me! I hope that dragon eats every last one of you!" Among the refugees, a child's eyes shot open. He pointed toward the castle in amazement. "Mom, look!" his mother asked, confused. "What is it, dear?" A wooden cart was racing from the direction of the castle. On the cart was Jack, famous for wearing only his briefs. "Mom, is he really going to fight a dragon in his underwear?" Everyone stared, frozen in disbelief. All eyes were fixed on them, the group charging off to slay the dragon. Well, except for Dare, who was still fast asleep with his lips pursed. One of the refugees said in disbelief, "You have to be kidding me. Don't tell me that's the hero who's supposed to defeat the dragon and save us all." After a flurry of frantic movements, he finally sat down. The moment he did, Jack huddled into a ball, hugging himself and shivering uncontrollably. Tears and snot streamed down his face in humiliation as he whimpered, "So cold!" So embarrassing. "Not only am I humiliated, but I'm freezing too." The man next to him, however, offered praise. "You did well." Suddenly, Jack's expression changed drastically. His eyes hardened as he stared forward. Thousands of people had been frozen solid. They were human statues of ice, all frozen with the same expressions of terror, screaming for help. So many people. They didn't escape in time. They all froze to death. Suddenly, Jack looked up, his blood running cold at the sight. There, perched majestically atop the castle, stood the imposing ice dragon. "We're almost there," he thought. Just then, Dater spoke to Alex and Jack. "Alex, you useless trash, get ready too." He remained perfectly calm, lying on the hay in the back of the cart with his hands behind his head. "The plan is the same. You, worthless trash, will stand where everyone can see you. You will grab that lizard and drop it right in front of this trash. After that, you, trash, will finish it off with one sweep of the broom. Got it?" The plan the Lord laid out moved him to tears, snot running down his face as he thought to himself, "I knew this would be the plan." The Lord continued to taunt him. "Especially you, Alex. Don't fool around like last time and make me step in." Alex turned and looked down at him. A confident smile spread across his face, as if victory was already his. "Rest assured, my lord." Suddenly, he pointed a finger into the air. A rift appeared, and he leaped onto the carriage seat. After an unpredictable transformation, Alex took on a different form with a more hideous face, standing tall on the carriage. Last time, this humble servant struggled a bit. "Because I wasn't paying attention to their condition, but I won't make the same mistake again." The Lord gave a stern command which made him curious. "Alex, don't kill it. Capture it alive for me." He had shed his leisurely demeanor. In its place was the aura of a demon king. Alex was no less vicious, with red eyes and fangs like a cruel vampire. "As you command." "Yes, sir. In that case, I'll just beat it half to death." Then he turned and called out to the boy huddled in a corner from the cold. "Jack." Alex took off his hat and turned his head, as courteous as a gentleman, but his smile was demonic. "That dragon is huge, so things are about to get a little crazy. So make sure you stand firm and stay put, you hear?" Jack sighed and thought to himself, "I know." With that, he zipped into the spatial rift he had just torn open. "Well then, farewell." Jack, in a panic, reached out in his direction, calling after him chaotically, "Hold on, Sir Alex!" As he was panicking, the Lord spoke up. "Stop the carriage, you weakling!" Then he lay down on a pile of hay, drool trickling from his mouth, waving his hand dismissively. "I'm going to sleep here for a bit. Go deal with that dragon. Hurry up." Jack was speechless, replying, "Yes, sir." But then he suddenly spoke up. "But, my lord," Jack remembered the sight of the dragon's majestic roar, which had made him break out in a cold sweat. Could you come with me, sir?" "I feel like I'm about to pee my pants." Inside, he lamented, "I knew I'd be scared to death when I had to face it." A purple, multi-eyed monster clung to the white dragon's head. It appeared terrifying, wriggling leisurely, when a voice called out, "Hey!" Alex emerged from the spatial rift, tearing through the fabric of space, his hair and cape fluttering as he fell from the sky. He landed on the dragon's head. It had already seen him, turning its head and roaring at Alex. The multi-eyed monster, its eyes rolled up, had also spotted him. It elongated the spikes around its body, launching them toward Alex. The spikes grew, turning into tentacles that attacked him, but he dodged them all. Moving like a phantom, Alex darted like lightning across the tentacles, heading for its head. the brain of the purple monster. When fighting, he was dead serious, a far cry from his usual joking self. Then, quick as a flash, he attacked the white dragon's head, striking its vital points one by one. Then, with a single blow, he felled the once mighty white dragon, the impact echoing for miles. Jack, watching from a distance, saw the dragon go down, his hands trembling as he clutched a broom. Excitement, admiration, and awe filled him as he witnessed the earth-shattering battle between him and the dragon, making the blood in his veins boil. He screamed internally, "That was amazing!" even though the battle had just begun. Over by the castle, smoke and snow swirled, obscuring Jack's vision. He thought to himself, "I can't see anything with all this smoke. Has it started yet?" With a determined look on his face, Jack resolved to move forward. He thought, "I need to find a place where Sir Alex can easily find me." The Lord suddenly spoke up, throwing a wooden shield toward him. "Weakling," he continued calmly, "don't you always carry this shield with you? Saying something like, a hero should at least have a shield? Isn't this a memento from your father? Besides, I've also cast a spell on it here." The shield floated up, enveloped in a purple-black flame that exploded with power. The Lord explained the flame. "That's a protective magic barrier. It can even block a dragon's breath." Hearing that this shield was to protect him, Jack was moved to tears, thanking him silently in his heart. But he hadn't even been moved for 3 seconds before the feeling vanished when he saw the Lord had already rolled over. He was fast asleep, dead to the world. He only left behind a single "good night" before heading toward the dragon. "Good night, my lord." Jack ran for his life, his spirit now fierce and fearless. "I'll definitely do well this time. I need to get to a suitable spot quickly so Sir Alex doesn't have to wait," he thought, running while searching for a place to stand, snot dripping from his nose. An easily visible place, somewhere high and central. After searching everywhere, he finally found it, a sharp, towering rock that stood out. He rushed towards the rock. Almost there! Suddenly, he slipped, fell backward, and slid down the white snow, screaming in terror. The battle between the dragon and Alex was still raging intensely. The purple demon was beaten bloody by him. Covered in bruises, it lay flattened, growling. Suddenly, Alex charged, stomping hard on one of the purple demon's eyes, then fiercely rained punches and kicks down on each of its other eyes. He fought with serious, powerful, deadly intent, his red eyes flashing lethally. The purple monster's eyes also lit up. A magical light flared violently, and suddenly it fired a terrifying beam of power. A wave of divine energy tore through the air, striking him directly. The terrifying beam sent him flying, wounding him and drawing blood. The dragon, as if reinvigorated, spread its mighty wings. It beat its wings powerfully and soared into the sky, kicking up a blizzard of snow and sending rocks flying. The powerful action created a cloud of snow dust, obscuring all vision. Suddenly, emerging from behind the dust cloud, was a hand miles long lunging forward, that arm. It came through the clouds and seized a sharp fang, terrifying the dragon. From behind the snowy mist, a figure was flying up along the newly appeared arm. It was him, Alex, but he was no longer the same as before. With a new appearance after a power upgrade, Alex flew along the arm towards the dragon and swung his leg. A lightning-fast kick landed squarely on the dragon's jaw. The sound of the impact echoed like an explosion, shaking the very air. The kick grew stronger and stronger. It caused the dragon's teeth to crack and shatter. Behind Alex's back, gaunt arms were sprouting, each one gruesome and terrifying, as he focused all the power in his body. As if preparing for the final blow, that last strike slammed the dragon's head into the ground, sending earth and rock flying everywhere. The blow flattened the white dragon, pinning it to the dirt. Groaning and whimpering in pain, the dragon growled as Alex calmly approached, carrying himself like a conqueror. He spoke. "You heal fast, must be your size, huh?" The only answer to his question was a guttural growl from the dragon. Alex raised his hand to deliver the final blow. "This ends now." And once again the dragon returned to the earth. The sight left Jack speechless, utterly astounded. That was incredible. He was still clad in his strange armor. Standing atop the cliff, Long thought to himself, "It's a little scary just staying here. Lord Alex is handling that dragon all by himself." He was in complete awe of Alex's absolute power, even with a runny nose. And that's supposed to be a D-rank hunter? Behind them, the refugees erupted into a clamor as they saw the dragon fall. They began to cheer.
A hero! A hero saved us!
What? He's actually winning?
What a pervert!
Why is he dressed like that?
We're saved! We're saved! Move it! I can't see!
You can do it, hero! The Lord has answered our prayers. They were overcome with joy, for just as they faced certain death, a savior had appeared to help them. Our hero! But the obese man was the opposite of everyone else. He trembled, biting his fingernails to stave off his terror. That's a hero? As for Jack, he turned to look at the crowd, moved, thinking they were cheering for him. Everyone! They're cheering for me. Being cheered on like this seemed to fill him with new strength. He looked as if he was ready to fight for his life. Behind him, the cheers continued to ring out. You can do it! Keep going! Despite his newfound determination, Jack was still terrified. His legs were shaking, and he couldn't tell if it was from the cold or from fear. He thought to himself, unlike me, just standing here trembling, that's a real hero. I'm so jealous. I want to be a hero like him too, saving people, giving them hope. A true hero. Jack stood up, determined to make that wish a reality. Suddenly, he heard a faint cry for help from behind him. Please, save me. Jack turned towards the sound, but all he could see were people who had been frozen into statues. One lucky couple had managed to survive. The woman whispered a desperate plea. Please, save me, Sir Hero. Just then, the dragon's long, powerful tail whipped through the air. The tail sent Alex flying thousands of meters into the sky. Hearing the loud impact from his direction, Jack whipped his head around to see what was happening. Alex, who had been launched into the air, was now landing gently on a nearby rocky cliff. In his hand, he held a purple creature, the thing that had been clinging to the dragon's head. The dragon, as if reanimated, slammed its foot down, shattering the rocks beneath it. It let out an aggressive roar in his direction. It was as if it was trying to speak in some strange language. The language of dragons. Alex seemed to understand its words. He asked just to be sure. So, you can regenerate infinitely as long as the host isn't dead? It's a parasite, then? He stood motionless for a moment as if pitying the creature. But you're already dead. You're nothing but a zombie dragon. A massive claw scraped against the ground. An enormous dragon, its body formed from razor-sharp shards of ice, looked absolutely terrifying. It opened its maw wide, revealing rows of sharp teeth as it let out a deafening roar. Alex watched the massive dragon from a distance. His face was covered by a magical barrier, leaving only his red eyes and nose visible for breathing. So they can multiply indefinitely, unless they're removed from the host, that is. Truly a zombie dragon? The massive dragon spread its wings wide. Seeing this, Alex's eyes flashed with a menacing red light. If I can't kill it, I'll just have to cut off all its limbs. The dragon dug its claws deep into the ground, gathering momentum. It shot forward at a dizzying speed, its target the white-haired man directly in front of it. Just as the dragon was about to strike, Alex's eyes narrowed. At the same time, he called out the name of his technique. 100 hands! Suddenly, a mass of long, writhing black tendrils erupted from his body. The dragon opened its massive jaws, ready to swallow the fearsome man whole. Faced with such a terrifying situation, Alex remained calm. He knelt down and called out, "One arm!" As he finished speaking, the tendrils around him merged together, forming a single, colossal hand with sharp claws. The massive hand clenched into a fist. A moment later, it threw a powerful punch straight into the dragon's head. The impact was so strong that droplets of blue blood spurted from its face. The fist rose again. 100 demon hands! The giant hand began to pummel the dragon relentlessly. This technique was called Hell's Hammer. Beneath the barrage of blows, the dragon's face was smashed to a pulp. The hand grabbed the dragon by the neck, lifting it as if it were a mere toy. It seemed to be dead, but then a light suddenly began to glow from within the dragon's mouth. Alex realized what was happening. He quickly used the long tendrils to completely envelop himself. A massive blast of energy shot out, striking the hand that was gripping its neck. From a distance, the scantily clad Jack wasn't hit directly, but he was still caught in the blast wave. The force sent him flying, rolling over and over several times. From inside his pot-like helmet, his youthful face peeked up to check on the situation. Alex was unharmed, now shielded by multiple hands that had just been formed. His eyes glowed with a red aura as he declared, "This is the end." The dragon roared in agony as the hand squeezed tighter. Alex's eyes widened as he whispered the name of the technique. 100 demon hands, 1 from 3. The 2 remaining hands grabbed hold of the dragon's wings. Without a moment's hesitation, they brutally ripped the wings apart, sending blood spraying everywhere. The tortured dragon shrieked in agony. Still protected, Alex simply tilted his head to the side. He shouted, "Reverse flow!" The massive fist drew back, raising high into the air. Then, Alex's calm voice echoed, "Great demolition. 10,000 fists." A continuous barrage of punches like a meteor shower rained down upon the dragon. The refugees watching from the rear could only stare in stunned silence at the scene before them. Jack, who was closest, just gazed blankly at the colossal hands, completely lost in a daze. But he quickly realized the main problem. Oh no, this is no time to just stand here watching. He ran towards the 3 frozen people, thinking with determination, "I have to save them, and fast." Someone whispered from inside, "Help! Don't worry." Hearing that, Jack shouted to comfort them, "I'll get you 2 out right now." But as soon as he touched the block of ice, he recoiled in panic. So cold! Then his eyes fell on something. A man came into view. His eyes were white. A tear had frozen on his cheek, and his lips were pale. He was dead, having died while trying to save the girl. Just as Jack was processing this, a baby began to cry. A woman with a cracked face was crying, pleading, "The child, please save the child!" As he took in the horrifying scene, Jack grabbed a stick and started chipping at the ice. In the freezing air, he shouted, "Just hang on a little longer, I'll get you out of here right now." Outwardly pretending to comfort the victim. Inside, however, he cursed. "Damn it, I have to leave the father to save the mother and child." As Jack tried to figure out how to save the 2 of them, he thought to himself, "Lord Alex will be here soon. I need to hurry up, save them, and get back to where I was." Suddenly, in the distance, a blue block of ice flashed with light. Outside, someone gasped, "That light!" Immediately, the man with the bleeding eyes screamed, "Get away, Sir Hero! That's the same light that destroyed our castle!" The light grew more and more blinding. A massive wave of power radiated outwards, heading straight for Jack. He was struck directly by the force, his entire body sent flying into the air. The nearby rocks were also swept up. There was something causing this current of air to spread rapidly. Faced with the explosion of terrifying power, people quickly fell back and turned to flee. Rick was battered by the cold winds hitting his face. It made his fat body bounce up and down. So cold. The dragon, which they thought was dead, was now standing on the icy ground. One of its eyes had been completely destroyed. Alex's deep, hoarse voice rang out, just like before. His entire body was now covered in strange patterns. "It's a bit difficult to maintain this skin I've preserved for the battle 25 years from now. How annoying." Buried in the ground, Jack slowly regained consciousness. His eyes fluttered open as he thought, "Am I still alive because of Lord Durr's white shield magic? So cold." But then he was startled, remembering something important. The child. Across from him, a baby was wailing, perhaps from the cold or from the death of its mother. Amidst this scene, Rick couldn't help but sigh in relief. The child is still alive, but then he cursed under his breath. "Damn it! The mother! Hang on, I'm coming! Just as he was about to push himself forward, he suddenly collapsed. His eyes quickly glanced behind him. Jack's condition was absolutely tragic. From the shins down, his legs had been shattered into pieces. Back to the dragon, the man with the injured eye shouted in fear, "It's coming back!" and hurriedly yelled, "Sir Hero, run!" With tears and snot running down his face from the cold, Jack thought with determination, "I have to save the child. I'm a hero, even if I'm a useless one." In the background were the shouts of the people. "Sir Hero, look out! Sir Hero! Sir Hero, this way!" Jack continued to crawl towards the baby. "Maybe I can't save everyone like other heroes, but I will save you." Alex, standing next to the dragon, asked coldly, "Don't you realize it's useless against me?" A strange figure mocked, "That's why you lot are always being used by humans. You foolish lizard lord." The dragon seemed to understand the creature's taunt. A blast of ice power erupted. From a distance, Jack shielded his face with his hands, and then he was thrown back once again. His slightly cracked eyelids squeezed shut. When he sensed no more movement, he slowly peeked open his eyes. Someone was squatting in front of him. "I truly don't understand," Der said, bored, resting his chin on his hand as he stared at the person lying opposite him. "How could they think they could defeat me when they're this weak? They're like candles in the wind, extinguished with a single puff. And yet they sacrificed themselves to save others. Did we really lose to them 66,500 years ago? Those humans, I can't understand them." The boy, his face completely pale, stammered, "Lord Der, I'm sorry I couldn't get there in time. I'll try harder next time." And with that, the boy passed out. Next time. Under the warm sun, the sleeping Jack slowly began to wake. But he immediately squeezed his eyes shut again, as if remembering something important. The boy, wrapped in bandages, shot upright. "That dragon? What happened to that dragon? Lord Dare?" In front of him now was a large, ruined room. There was no ceiling, so sunlight streamed directly in. "Is this Lord Dare's room?" Confused, Jack rubbed his head, his face a complete blank, with no idea what was going on. Wait, why am I here? Did I pass out?" The boy's gaze shifted to his side. His left hand had sharp stitch-like patterns on it. He hurriedly grabbed the blanket and threw it back. It was just as he'd expected. Beneath it were his intact legs, with suture marks. "My legs?" He thought he was completely crippled. "How?" Suddenly, two voices were heard from outside. "This divine dragon isn't half bad. These things aren't as bad as I thought, are they?" "Yes, I suppose so." The boy knew who it was instantly. "Is that Lord Dur's voice?" Ignoring the pain in his body, Jack rushed outside, shouting, "Lord Dur!" Below him were Alex and Dur, smiling and talking. "Oh, you're awake." Seeing the other person, the kid got all flustered. Yes, but how— Wait, before that, what about the dragon and the child?" Jack thought to himself, "There are so many things I want to ask." The man's lips curled into a slight smile as Doe spoke gently, his relaxed face looking incredibly handsome at that moment. "The dragon and the child have both been dealt with, so you don't need to worry. If you're rested enough, get down here and clean up this mess. We still have to open the shop after all, right?" The useless wretch froze, his hand still held in the same position. The boy thought happily, his cheeks flushing red. Just seeing his face makes all my worries disappear. Jack shouted enthusiastically, "Yes, master." From then on, they continued to take on missions from the dragon god, their eyes, full of life, gleaming inside the cauldron. A giant silver dragon was spitting fire. Around it, panicked civilians fled. "Run! Help me!" Someone from behind pointed a finger at the other person. "You useless thing!" He lay sprawled comfortably on a pile of straw and ordered, "You attack!" Jack shouted seriously, "Sir Alex, I'm ready." A magic circle appeared over the dragon's head. Hearing the boy's voice from below, Alex quickly got ready. When the dragon saw him, it spewed out a strange language. Immediately after, Alex charged towards it. Every time they successfully killed a dragon, someone would come and take it away. But he had no idea how they took it. Jack's joyful voice rang out, "Master!" This master was drowsily rubbing his sleepy eyes when suddenly a sword flew up into the sky. It was a pile of very special weapons. He looked down, bewildered. Alex smiled faintly, while an energetic Jack held up 10 swords to show off to his master. And then, the next morning, a mountain of weapons would appear right in front of their house. Doe, even with his eyes shut tight and drool running from his mouth, thought it was amazing and gave a thumbs up. Just like that, they faced a roaring, peacock-like monster. The dragon, falling into old habits, roared loudly, "Sir Alex!" A slender foot elegantly dodged it. Nope. And right after that, a bolt of purple lightning struck this monster. The wheels turned onward. A pitch-black, spider-like monster made little Jack tremble, while Doe and Alex calmly put on sunglasses and threw a flashbang. And once again, the carriage flew up into the air. Below was a rather strange species of dragon. Time passed, and sunset began to fall. Many residents were comfortably devouring bowls of noodles. Doe and Alex, acting like children, were slurping up their noodles non-stop. Jack sat opposite them, happily watching them eat. Suddenly, a small yellow flash of light appeared in front of Doe. A piece of paper materialized, with words written above the bowl of noodles. "Sunari Castle has just appeared." The dragon god, still chewing noodles, pointed to the sky and heroically shouted, "Let's go." A while later, they arrived at their target. In contrast to Jack, who was fighting seriously, Do was lying sprawled out comfortably. His eyes suddenly widened, and then he slowly gave the order. Attack. Hearing this, the boy obediently replied, "Yes, sir." Jack's small body hovered in front of the enemy dragon. The opponent prepared to spit fire to kill the human before it. Immediately, the boy, completely unafraid, used his weapon and shouted, "Demon King Slash!" The dragon took a painful blow to the face, and drops of blood spurted out. Then more spurted, and more. And just like that, more valuable items came to the boy. His legs, drenched in blood, stepped forward, his upper body covered in gore. Behind him lay the slain dragon. Suddenly the boy heard something. It turned out to be the villagers who had fled. They had witnessed the entire thing. Bowing their heads between Jack and the dragon, one said, "Look, it's a dragon hunter. The Lord must have sent him here. The dragon hunter who saved the neighboring Doria castle has come to save our village." "So cool, Mr. Hunter!" "Sir Hunter in his underwear, look over here!" From a distance, their master called out as the two happily high-fived. "You did a good job!" The boy replied happily, "Yes, sir." Word spread far and wide, and Jack's team quickly became the most famous in the land. The three of them stood before something. Do looked up. "Is it finally done?" Alex replied politely, "Yes. This is the first branch of the demon's weapon shop." And so, the shop opened for business. The branch was equipped with many beautiful and high-quality items. Everything sparkled with newness. Jack cheered joyfully. "Oh my gosh, this place looks so luxurious, Sir Do!" The childish boy wiggled his whole body, while Do chatted calmly with Alex. "I didn't think the space inside would turn out like this. You must have put in a lot of effort." Alex boasted proudly, "Of course. Around here, there isn't a single weapon shop that can compare to this place. Not even the major guilds can match it." Do suddenly gave a very sinister smile. "Oh, is that so? Well, it doesn't matter. After all, you two will be the ones managing the shop." Even someone as calm as Alex couldn't help but have his eyes go wide upon hearing this. "Huh? Us?" Jack also looked at him anxiously. "What about you, Master?" He just calmly asked them back. "Have you two ever seen a boss who does the work himself?" Seeing the indifferent attitude of their damn master, veins started popping on the foreheads of the two behind him, furious enough to die. "Did you hear the utter nonsense your master just spouted?" "I did, sir." A terrifying hand appeared behind Alex, and Jack was no exception. Do pressed their faces against his own. His face didn't look so handsome anymore. He looks like a balloon monster. "Listen here, I just want to sit around and count money, not manage these damn shops. If you're still hesitant, let me make it clear. You two were the ones excited to manage the shop, not me, right?" Struggling to breathe, the two painfully replied, "We understand, sir." "That's right, sir. Our pain-in-the-ass master dumped all the work on his subordinates. Well, that settles it. You two get to work hard and make this shop grow." As soon as he let them go, the two dejectedly replied, "Yes, yes, sir." While the boss was grinning gleefully, Jack called out, "Excuse me, Sir Do." The boy rubbed his head. "May I continue to work at the counter after I'm done here?" "Yes, I still need to earn tuition money for my twin siblings." He casually crossed his arms. "Whatever. Do what you want." Hearing that, Jack was overjoyed. "Thank you, sir," Do suddenly called to the other demon in the group. "Also, Alex." The other obediently looked up. "Yes?" His expression was quite serious. "Go get the thing I asked for." Outside, at sunset, Jack looked down at a strange object below him. It was round, with terrifying, sharp-pupiled purple eyes, yet the boy still praised it. "Wow, this looks amazing." "Read it." "Yes, sir." Do held up the item and demanded, "Read it." With a stoic expression, Alex replied, Yes, sir. Doomslagen. Forged from dragon scales obtained as a reward from a dragon hunt combined with various 6 jewels, rubies, and artifacts." "Amazing. This is an SS rank shield, worthy only of heroes, specially crafted by Hemet, the #1 blacksmith of the underworld. This item can withstand 3 to 4 attacks from the Demon King himself, sir." Hearing this, Do let out a surprised, "Oh? It can even block a Demon King's attack?" So the dwarves really are master craftsmen, just like the rumors say. In reality, the underworld Alex mentioned referred to the demon realm, but Jack misunderstood it as the land of the dwarves. He coldly tossed the item towards the boy. "Here, weakling, catch." The boy uttered in confusion, "Huh?" Suddenly, A beam of purple light shone into the boy's eyes. Jack was no longer at the branch. The place was completely black, with nothing in it. "Where is this?" he shouted in a panic. "Sir Do!" Suddenly a deep, raspy voice came from behind him. "A human? Are you the one who called me?" A giant red eye stared intently at the small human before it. It began to introduce itself. "My name is Doomslagan. I shall accept you as my master until the day my life's flame turns to ash." Startled, Jack spoke up. "Master?" But it didn't let him ask any questions. Flashes of pink lightning sparked. A moment later, he was still holding the object, looking around bewilderedly and asking, "Huh? Where did Sir Doomslagan go?" Do casually answered his question. "It's coming. Try to block it." As he swung his hand, a surge of purple power rushed towards Jack. The eyes on the object flashed, and the boy's entire body was thrown backwards, suddenly smashing through the wall. The quiet Alex cursed at his master in frustration. Seriously, what kind of boss destroys his own newly built shop? Now. Do casually put his hands in his pockets and peered outside. "Just a little test." Jack was now buried under a pile of rubble, with only a small arm sticking out. The boy cheerfully waved. "Sir Do! This shield is really amazing. It's so amazing that an A-rank hero, even a G-rank, would want it." It was hard to tell if Do was complimenting or criticizing him. "Even though it's only at 1/100th of its full size, I guess it could still easily block my Spear of Doom." He called out, "Weakling!" The boy replied with a bright smile, "Yes!" The master bluntly declared, "From now on, it's yours. We want you to use some powerful equipment. For a change, you're way too weak. I'll add more gear one by one, so let's start with this." The boy shot up immediately. "Really?" Tears of emotion streamed from Jack's eyes. "Giving me such an amazing shield, even though I'm just a useless F-rank? Is this really okay, sir?" Do's expression grew thoughtful for a moment. After a while, he let out a soft The tears fell onto the eyes of the shield. The boy hugged the precious gift to his chest. Jack sobbed and swore, "Even if I lived for another 1,000,000 years, I would never have dreamed of a day that I would be able to hold such an incredible shield. This is the greatest shield in the whole world," Do said with a stoic face. "You idiot, I didn't even hit you, so why are you crying?" One evening, somewhere else, a group of nobles were gorging themselves as if they were starving, while their king ecstatically shouted, "Drink up, Verde Kingdom, Akoma Castle." That king held out his hand, which was covered in rings. "Wearing so many is heavy. You've collected quite a lot, haven't you?" "Who would have thought you'd kept so many?" "You can't take it with you when you die, you know. That old man has no conscience whatsoever." He asked a girl with lifeless eyes, casually draping his arm over her shoulder. "Am I right, Princess April?" He laughed heartily. "Ha ha." Suddenly, a cloaked figure walked in, smiling faintly for some reason. After a slight, polite bow of greeting, the mysterious person casually walked towards the stairs. But they moved about as if sniffing or staring intently at someone or something. That person went up the stairs, peering around. Their soft voice echoed in the quiet space. "It's not here." They walked forward. The crowd of revelers continued to watch the cloaked figure with curiosity. Despite all the eyes on them, that person walked on calmly. Then they sat down, and a hand adorned with many rings appeared from beneath the cloak. "Just in the distance from the city gates to this place. There's not a single trace of a battle." The arrogant king yelled, "What? Who the hell are you?" Cadencia looked up and replied with a smile, "Please don't mind me. Don't worry about me. Feel free to carry on as you were." He stomped his foot on the ground and then shot forward with lightning speed. After landing from the leap, Cadencia's ring-covered hand gently touched a stone fragment. His eyes lit up. "Here." To think a single explosion could make the mountains look like this, with just one attack. Is it possible for a human to do something like this? Seeing this strange person's attitude, the king broke into a cold sweat and, getting irritated, roared, "Get this bastard out of here!" The others quickly shouted in unison, "Yes, sire." Cadencia held out a hand toward them. "Don't move, it's very dangerous. Although you all are nothing more than cockroaches swarming this place. Your lives are still precious, aren't they? Ha!" Annoyed, the men shouted, "This guy's tired of living, kill him!" He uttered those words as if he were a follower of God. As God's creations, you shouldn't act like this. The moment they finished speaking, they were all slashed by something sharp. He then commanded the survivors, "The rest of you, stand still if you don't want to end up like them." The man sitting in the back, having witnessed everything, asked uneasily, "Magic? What is going on? Who are you?" As Cadencia gave a polite smile, he said, "The superiors are very concerned about the events taking place here. For instance, the appearance of something terrible. That's why I was sent here to investigate. I hope you'll cooperate." The other man scowled, repeating, "Superiors?" His eyes narrowed. "Yes. Representing God, the Savior." The false emperor panicked so much that spit flew from his mouth as he spoke. The most holy Savior?" A murderous glint flashed in Cadencia's blue eyes. "If you already know, then I don't need to say any more. Why don't you just confess? What happened here on that day?" Seeing the man's frantic state, he pressed on. "Who, what, and how? To destroy Akoma Castle, one of the largest fortresses, in an instant, and then disappear without a trace. Truly masterful." The man replied, sweating, I don't know anything. I only overheard some merchants in town say that he had white hair." Having gotten the information, Cadencia asked again, "White hair?" The king's purple eyes filled with anxiety. "Yes, that morning. They said they saw a suspicious white-haired man entering and leaving the city gate. Right after that, they heard screams, and then the castle suddenly exploded." He stammered in fear. "That's all I know. Only God knows what happened next because everyone in the castle died." Cadencia smiled faintly and said nothing. After a moment, he turned around. "Thank you for the answer. Goodbye." The other king, still sitting on his throne, shouted loudly, "He is the savior of this place!" You could never understand. The tyrannical rule of King Verde had become far too arrogant. Akoma, the greatest fortress in the world, what a joke. It was built with the blood and flesh of the common people in this city. That white-haired youth, he is the savior sent by God to kill that tyrant, and to help us take back what is rightfully ours. He is the true savior, far more capable than that pathetic wretch who uses the divine for a life of luxury. Cadencia was no longer smiling. His eyes flashed as he said, "Well said. However, we will be the ones to determine whether he was sent by God or is part of some fallen force." He gently raised his hand. "And another thing." The man's head was instantly severed. "How dare you insult him? Die!" The man kicked something with his foot. "There you are, you damn germ." Standing nearby, Alex corrected him. "It's a parasite, not a germ." The man dismissed the comment. "Same thing. Anyway, just report the position and let the Golden Divine Dragon take care of the rest." Alex nodded. "Sounds good." They walked leisurely across the grass, the man with his arms crossed behind his head. He spoke first. "At first I thought it was kind of fun, working like this. But when there's this much to do, doesn't it become a pretty serious problem for the dragons? For things to have reached this point, the Golden Divine Dragon should have just taken a stand and ended things. After all, she claims to be a divine dragon." Alex seriously answered his master's question. "The reason she can't take care of herself is probably because she's injured and in the body of a mortal." He didn't understand at all and asked, "What does that mean?" He calmly answered his master's question. "I'm not entirely certain, but it's likely related to the records in the Library of Spacetime." Doe repeated his words. "The Library of Spacetime?" Alex continued to explain. "That's right. It is the place where the history of the world, officially recognized by the gods, has been stored for a very long time. While memories or ordinary documents can be easily manipulated by spiritual magic, once something is recorded in the Library of Spacetime, it can never be altered. It's irrefutable, ironclad proof." Doe was starting to understand. So the reason the Golden Divine Dragon is acting like this is because she's afraid of being recorded in the Library of Spacetime. So, in another dimension, her appearance here is a secret that can't be revealed? Alex replied with a stoic face, "Something like that." The two of them went on like that, one asking, one answering. "Why? How would I know? How could a normal guy like me understand the personal problems of the gods? The dragon, that's adult business, huh?" When the two of them reached the carriage, they found Jack sound asleep. "Huh? This useless bum fell asleep again?" Alex's cold expression softened. "Perhaps he's just tired." He acted as if nothing happened, but he just faced a dragon that even an S-rank hero would have trouble dealing with. Perhaps only he could have done that, because he learned how to defend against and confront that dragon. Suddenly, something caught Doe's eye. "Huh? What's this? Why is he carrying a shield, but has it wrapped in cloth like that? Alex explained again. He said that he always cherishes that shield. Therefore, as it's something incredibly important to him, he plans to pass this shield down to his younger brother when he becomes a hero. Hearing this, his master laughed loudly. What an idiot! Tell him to just unwrap it and use it, then buy a new one for his little brother. He laughed along too. Indeed. He walked away and said, Hey, let's get going. Just toss him in this carriage and let him keep sleeping. Alex, like a father caring for his tired child, replied, All right, all right. The carriage moved slowly through the starry night. Suddenly, a question popped out. It hasn't come off yet? Alex turned his head, confused. Huh? Seeing the other's blank face, Doe had to clarify. The bandages on Jack's arms and legs. Only then did he understand the issue. Ah, right. He made a joke. I thought those doctors would do a half-assed job, but it seems they're quite dedicated. Doe said with a laugh. Well, if you dare to chop them off, you have to know how to stick them back on, right? I guess they must have done that a lot. Anyway, do you think if he'd had a better start in life, he could have become a great hero? His sense of responsibility is very high. If he had the chance, I'm sure he could do it. The sound of his subordinate's laughter rang out next to him. My lord, please don't say such ominous things. If that were really the case, then within 25 years, the two of you could become enemies. Doe's face lit up. Why would I do that to that idiot? Annoyed by this naive expression, Alex yelled in frustration, Because you walk the path of the Demon King! The other man still played innocent. Huh? What are you talking about? Just a quick glance is enough to see that I look more like a hero's cherished companion than a Demon King, right? Hearing that, he gave up. I'm speechless, my lord. He returned to his normal demeanor and asked with a smile, But if it really did turn out that way, would Jack become a hero of humanity? The other man answered bluntly, That's impossible, because he doesn't belong to Generation Zero. Puzzled, he repeated, Generation Zero? His subordinate's red eyes were filled with seriousness. Correct. That is the natural law of this world. The final hero must be born in the 5th generation. An ordinary person has a child at age 20, and their child has a child at age 20, and so on. By the time the 5th generation child turns 20, exactly 1 century will have passed. In that very year, the Demon King will descend and that child will declare war on us. After that, the cycle of Generation Zero begins again. Among the children of Generation Zero, only one can possibly become a hero. Furthermore, a 4th generation child like Jack could never become a hero. Only his child might have a chance. As he was lost in his explanation, his master suddenly burst out laughing. He smiled, looking up at the sky. Every century, when the Demon King wants to invade humanity, a hero is born. That's the law of the world, huh? What a ridiculous game this is. Deus continued to laugh to himself. Seizing the moment, Alex asked a question. Sir, can you tell me now why you left and didn't want to be the Demon King? Amidst the serious atmosphere, Deus nonchalantly asked, Haven't I told you yet? He nearly shouted with laughter. Not yet. Deus touched his mouth, saying in bewilderment, Really? I was also wondering why I hadn't said anything yet. Hearing that, Alex gave up. How would I know? Just as Deus was about to state his reason. It's nothing. I didn't want to become the Demon King because... Something suddenly flew over their heads. Seeing the burning object, they both whispered, Isn't that an airship? Looking like this, it must belong to the royal nobility, don't you think? It's being attacked by a dragon. Deus sighed wearily. A dragon again? Are dragons really that easy to find in this world? Suddenly, Alex's voice turned grave. How can that be? That symbol. The holy fur, the symbol of the pure blood line. Deus's face broke into a grin as he asked, Pure blood, you say? He replied immediately, That's right. Then he explained, It's a clan that has produced hundreds of heroes, carrying the noblest of pure bloodlines. I don't understand why two species that have been allies for thousands of years would turn on each other. Everything that's been happening lately is so hard to understand, really. Suddenly, his master called his name. Hey, Alex. He looked at the other man, confused. What is it? He gave a smile of utmost innocence against the backdrop of the burning ship. Let's go watch the show. Hey! A group of knights was pulling something quite large forward. Be careful. Watch out for the fire. Hurry up. Damn it, why is this thing so heavy? 1, 2, 1, 2! They pulled hard on each rope, but suddenly the ground beneath them crumbled. Fortunately, neither the men nor the object fell. Patrick, standing on a rock to the side, cursed, "Hey, you idiots! I told you to be careful and not to break that thing." They shouted in fear, "Yes, yes, sir!" His fat face turned pale. "These fools!" He cursed silently in his head. Do they have any idea how much this thing is worth? The knights below continued to focus on their work. "Lift it up! 1, 2, 1, 2! If there's a single scratch on it, I'll chop all of your heads off." Suddenly, a loud sound erupted from behind Patrick. The source of that sound was a bright red dragon. We've been spotted!" The dragon flew swiftly toward the small group of humans on the rock. The terrified Patrick screamed, "It's coming!" He was drenched in sweat, quickly giving orders to the men below. "It's coming this way!" That creature is after this object. Stop it at all costs. Archers, mages, get ready. Fire! The men replied in unison. Yes, sir. One side held bows, another used talismans, and another used magic. Sparks flew from the dragon's mouth. Patrick yelled so hard that spit and snot flew everywhere. Fire! They immediately complied, and strange characters shot out from the paper slips. Bolts of lightning were launched forward, but none of it had any effect on the dragon. The fireball it shot towards them sent Patrick falling to the ground with a thud in the sky. The dragon continued to circle. Seeing this, he cursed under his breath, "Damn it!" and hurriedly turned his head down to ask, "Where is the object? Is it still safe?" The knights, helping the others lie down, replied, "Yes, sir, no problems here." They groaned in pain. "Ah, my leg!" The cold Patrick let out a sigh of relief. Thank heavens. He nervously looked up and saw the dragon turning back around. "It's coming again!" "That thing is still a juvenile. Make sure you hit it this time." Everyone took aim. The others began to act again. "Yes, sir!" The dragon prepared to breathe fire once more. Patrick opened his mouth as wide as it could go. "This is the final blow! Fire!" But before he could finish shouting, someone spoke from behind him. "Hey, move!" Without hesitation, the person stomped hard on his head to launch himself forward. Patrick's face flushed red with anger. A blonde-haired man raised his sword. "Twin slash! Camellia!" The moment he finished speaking, the dragon's body was split into two pieces. That Patrick fellow, realizing who it was, excitedly called out, "Lord Varys!" After defeating the dragon, he landed. There were strange markings on his face. "Are you trying to get yourself killed?" "You would have died if you hadn't dodged that, you idiot." Despite being insulted, the fat man was still ecstatic. "Ah, Lord Varys, we will handle it, no problem at all. Even though that dragon was still a juvenile, you still managed to slice it in two. You are truly magnificent." Varys waved his hand dismissively and handed his sword to the man. "A dragon is still a dragon. Why add that still a juvenile part? Forget it. Hurry up and clean my sword." He obediently replied, "Yes, sir," as if remembering something. He gave another order. "Also, clean up this mess and call for reinforcements." Patrick opened his eyes in confusion. "Yes, sir." Varys turned his head to look at him. His blue eyes shone brightly. "If that object is revealed, for any reason whatsoever, your head will no longer be on your neck." He stammered in reply, "Yes, sir, you can rest 100% assured." Suddenly, Deus's calm voice rang out, making Varys' entire body freeze. "Is this the thing you were talking about?" Above them, Deus and Alex were standing on the very thing the knights had been pulling all this time. Patrick asked in a panic, Who are you?" Deus ignored the fat man and kicked at the thing inside the tarp. The tarp tore, revealing the red eye of a dragon. Seeing it, he remained nonchalant and asked in confusion, "What's this?" "You said it was an item, but it turns out it's just another dragon?" Suddenly, Dewar saw something. He remarked that its eyes seemed normal. "So there are normal dragons that aren't infected by parasites?" he muttered. In response to the demon before him, Dewar had a realization. "So that's why the little dragon was chasing us, to save its mother." Alex agreed. "I believe so." His red eyes flashed, his voice filled with amusement. "Aren't you people supposed to be in a truce with the dragons? Are you part of the hero clan?" "I smell a conspiracy here," Varys thought grimly, then spoke. "Looks like we'll have to clean up a few more bodies." Watching this, Alex whispered, "My lord, why did you provoke him?" But his master was simply intrigued by something new. "Aren't you curious about the skills of a direct descendant?" I thought Varys would draw his sword, but no. Deal with them, Patch hurriedly replied. Yes, yes. He opened his mouth and roared, his face contorting into a horrifying expression. I don't know who you people are, but you've seen something you shouldn't have. Men, take them down! The knights raised their swords. Yes, sir! Dewar stared intently at the back of the knight-like man. He's just leaving like that? I had such high hopes for a direct descendant of a hero like him. How boring. Alex, kill them all. In contrast to his master's childish appearance, the subordinate calmly asked, But, Sir Dewar, aren't we supposed to be playing the part of the hero's companions? Dewar asked in confusion. What's that got to do with anything? The other calmly explained, Wouldn't it be bad to fight a direct descendant when we're the hero's companions? Hearing that, Dewar realized something. Now that you mention it, thinking back, was he a holy, just like Jack? Alex answered his master's doubt. Yes. The hero clan is always holy plus the name of a tree. It signifies that they've been blessed. Dewar asked his perfect subordinate dreamily, Was the first hero a tree or something? Why do they like using tree names so much? The two continued their conversation. They used the name of the most common tree in their territory. What's with that? It's not like it's Arbor Day or something, so ridiculous. Ignored, Pat shouted in anger. Those bastards are looking down on us. What are you waiting for? Kill them! The men used charms, the cavalry used bows, and immediately various streams of power flew toward the two of them. Behind them were the two who were on the cloth earlier. They're attacking us, aren't they? Let's finish them off quickly. They might wake Jack up. The two continued to chat casually while Patch sweated in fear. What? When did they get there? Alex frowned and asked, Killing them isn't difficult, but are you sure about this? Dewar was quite annoyed by his subordinate's caution. Why do you keep asking? He snapped. Alex had no choice but to repeat himself. Didn't I already tell you? Aren't you the hero's companion? Dewar pouted childishly. So what do you want to do? Beg them to forgive us and let us go? Not getting his master's joke, Alex calmly pointed toward the cloth. It's probably too late to ask for forgiveness. Not after we've seen a secret this huge. Unable to take it anymore, Dewar screamed, Then what do you want me to do? You're so annoying! Once again, the two of them started chatting, ignoring everyone else. Can't we just run? Are you afraid of them? I am Alex. Yeah, right. Alex the scaredy cat. Patch was so furious steam was practically coming out of his ears. How long are you bastards going to mess around? Kill them now! The crowd rushed toward the two demons. As they did, Alex glanced at someone trying to launch a sneak attack. I didn't want to get involved with the hero clan, but I suppose it's unavoidable. He took a deep breath, then spat out a blinding flash of light, throwing the other side into a panic. Meanwhile, Jack was still sleeping soundly. The boy snored away comfortably, drool trickling from his mouth. Knights holding shields and hammers charged at the two demons. A mage leaped into the air, sparks forming a fist of fire in his hand. Alex calmly watched the flames about to be launched at him, then spat out a ball of light that shattered the mage's bones. A knight holding a jar rushed past Dewar. Alex's red eyes flashed, and in an instant, the man was defeated on the spot. The others froze in place when they saw it. But before they could escape, Alex used his sharp claws to tear them to pieces. Hands and feet lay scattered on the ground. In the midst of this bloody scene, a cavalryman with the bow aimed at him, loosing a flaming arrow. Fierce tiger shot! Alex coolly brought two fingers together, and with a single flick, the man dropped dead. A magic user who hadn't given up yelled, Lightning strike! He used his hands to form an open circle, creating two magic rings. The sorcerer's lightning bolt passed through them and was reflected back at its master. The man fell down, dead on the spot. Alex licked the blood from his hand, then sighed with satisfaction as sharp black vertical slits appeared in his eyes. Killing people really is the most interesting thing to do. Watching from a distance, Patch trembled. Who are they? Once again, his fat head was stomped on. At the same time, the sword in his hand vanished. Varius suddenly appeared in mid-air. Ninja! Following his skill's name, Shadowless Split Attack, a powerful whirlwind erupted. A large patch of ground shattered to pieces. Varius landed, coldly staring into the smoke-filled area. A voice rang out from above. All this dust! Can't you be a little more gentle? He slowly turned his head to look up at the two demons, who had been standing high above him for who knows how long. Varius spoke up. Who are you people? You easily killed my clan's soldiers and even dodged my sword. Are you a blood soldier from the Dark Assassination clan? In contrast to the other's cold expression, Deus chuckled mockingly. Tisk, tisk, wrong! Does every strong person have to be a blood soldier? Use your brain a little. He wasn't angered and continued his questioning. Are you dragons then? Never mind. It doesn't matter. I just need to eliminate the witness. Seeing the man ready his stance, the corners of Deus's mouth lifted into a smirk as a crimson glow flared in his eyes. You kill me? That's never going to happen, you fool. The moment he saw the smile on Deus's face, a light flashed within his soul. Something deep inside Varius's body had awakened. A light appeared around him. Immediately, Varius screamed as a terrifying burst of light erupted from him. Seeing this, Alex was surprised. He's awakened? The man continued to scream as the sheer force of his power caused chunks of earth to fly up around him. Batman, standing in the distance, shielded his eyes and cried out in shock, Lord Varius! He gritted his pearly white teeth, looking as if he had lost all conscious thought. Deus was rather surprised by the sudden change. So what are you trying to show off now? The words had barely left his mouth when Varius leaped forward. In the blink of an eye, the now berserk Varius was standing right in front of them. He let out a low growl from his throat. Deus commented, as if a father speaking to his child. Looks like you've changed a little, huh? Varius swung his arm back, unleashing a flurry of perfect, powerful strikes. Deus landed a short distance away and casually taunted him. Hey, you idiot, still too slow. Hurry it up, will you? This witness is getting sleepy. Suddenly, the person beside him called out, Lord Deus? Alex's brow furrowed slightly, but he managed a strained smile. Shouldn't we be going? He didn't understand at all and questioned irritably. But I was just starting to have a little fun. Why are you stopping me from playing too? Don't tell me you're afraid of the heroes. Alex replied instantly. Yes, I am. It's true, I am a little afraid of him. At some unknown point, one of his arms had been severed. Brilliant rays of light emanated from the stump, proof that Varius was the one who'd inflicted the wound. Deus's smile vanished. What is this? How disgusting. Suddenly, Varius lunged forward, his face inches from his, and screamed, Destroy! Deus calmly faced the blonde-haired man. You can't fool me, Alex. You could easily kill this bastard. So why are you hesitating? Just as he spoke, a terrifying flurry of slashes appeared. Shadowless Fission Strike! Varius's sword was already at Deus's throat, but his tone remained completely calm. I already told you, he said, a terrifying smile spreading across his face. It's impossible. You can't even touch a single hair on my head. Provoked, the mindless Varius used his other hand to summon something. Streams of golden light shot out all around, but Deus dodged them with his usual calm. Are you a blood soldier? His feet touched the ground while his opponent was burning with the desire to kill him. But Deus continued to dodge and taunt. Do I look like a blood soldier? Instantly, Varius's newly awakened power blew an entire mountain apart. A moment later, faced with this overwhelming strength, Deus let out a bored yawn and resumed his taunts. How boring. I had such high hopes, seeing as you carry the blood of the former hero. But you're nothing but a slightly faster fly. I'm too lazy to even bother killing you. All the others like you who have died by my hand were simply a bunch of useless trash. His foot pressed firmly into the ground and he was preparing to kick. A red light of annihilation flared in his eyes, but Alex, who had been silent this whole time, suddenly moved. In a flash, Varius's entire body was covered in slashes. From behind, Varius yelled, Pierce through! With his call of Shadowless Strike, Alex's body, which had just healed, was sliced apart once more. Deus shouted in confusion, Alex, what are you doing? He didn't answer his master. Instead, he turned and threw something at Varius. It spread across his face in an instant, and Varius's eyes returned to normal. But immediately after, Varius collapsed to the ground. Deus stuck his hands in his pockets, looking at his subordinate. You knocked him out instead of killing him? What's with you? You kept avoiding him, whining about being afraid of him, and now you stand in my way to save him? Deus's expression was as petulant as a child's. Explain yourself. Give me a reason right now. He waited for the other to finish his tirade. Only then did Alex slowly speak. Forgive me, my lord. My concern isn't with this young hero. It's the will of the inhabitants of this world. Deus's eyes narrowed. Will? Isn't causing chaos, destruction, and slaughter your entire specialty in this world? He replied quietly, That's only achievable on a small scale. Rumor has it that if the Lord merely stands on this land, this entire world will tremble, and they will keep coming like an endless swarm of cockroaches. Even a baby in a cradle would crawl over with a knife. Humans are a bunch like that. In contrast to his servant's caution, the master couldn't care less about such things. Let as many of those cockroaches come as they like. I'll just burn them all at once. I've been thinking about this for a long time, but I still haven't figured anything out. How could this weak bunch possibly defeat me? It's just too absurd. When the person beside him didn't say anything, he looked up in confusion, only to see Alex's forced smile. Instantly, he seemed to understand something. His expression was now filled with coldness. So there's something else. Something I don't know yet. Alex's silence was his answer. He asked again, And I'll only find that out in another 25 years? With a strained expression, he finally replied, Yes. He spat out questions that sounded more like statements. You won't tell me even if I ask, will you? At best. And it will just be some nonsense about the will of the world or something, right? The atmosphere around them turned grim. You've guessed correctly. So let's go back now. Ignoring his request, Doe said with a smirk, So what if I kill this bastard right here? What would happen? This will that you fear. You've made me quite interested in defeating it. Will a god descend to Earth or something? Despite his master's change in demeanor, Alex remained calm. I don't know either, but I do know one thing for certain. He thought he would state some profound reason, but unexpectedly it was that your dream of becoming a member of the Heroes Party and living the life of the world's top 2% will become meaningless because you'll have to annihilate every hero in the world and destroy it to end everything. Forget about being a demon king. You'll be the most exemplary demon king in history. His expression was now incredibly sinister. Attacking the humans before the hero rises? That might be a good idea, don't you think? Alex raised his foot, about to stomp on Varius's head while pretending to say, That's right. I'll handle him myself. My lord can rest now. Doe shouted in panic. No! He broke out in a sweat, stopping his servant's action. Alex, can't you take a joke? I was just kidding. Demon kings and wars have nothing to do with me anymore. So there's no need for me to get my hands dirty, Are we just going to leave him like this? I just need to dispose of him and everything will be over. Ah, right. Hurry up and open the gate. A moment later, a magic portal appeared. Seeing the person behind him wasn't moving, he asked in confusion, Aren't you coming? Alex then gave his reason for not going. I will follow you as soon as I clean up our traces here. Please go ahead and rest, my lord. Doe, acting like a superior worried about his subordinate, asked, Your hand? Is it okay? He hurriedly pushed him towards the magic portal. These wounds will heal instantly when I return to the underworld. Don't worry and please go back first. Duh, not convinced, asked again just to be sure. Really? Be quick, okay? He bowed his head obediently. Have a safe trip. The magic portal closed. On the patch of land, only 2 people remained. Alex, who had just been smiling and bidding his master farewell, now lunged towards Varius. His face twisted, looking absolutely terrifying. He stuck out his tongue, his breath filled with rage. You damn brat. You dare strike me, one of the 7 counts of the demon world? With that filthy light? Something sharp and black poured from his eyes. With my own hands, in 25 years I will take the lives of your descendants, ending the lineage of your holy Stuartia family. Meanwhile, Jack was still sleeping peacefully under the warm moonlight. A figure appeared over him. Looking at this human's foolish appearance, Doe couldn't help but chuckle. He must have been exhausted, passing out in the middle of this cold. Over on the hill, the flames were still burning. Lost in thought for a moment, he curiously asked himself, what on earth is going to happen in 25 years anyway? All these rules and complications are so annoying. Just you wait. The day 25 years from now will never come, but why are those dragons so messy? That stupid dragon. Does she even know what's happening to her children? Suddenly, a sweet feminine voice rang out from above. The stupid dragon you're talking about. That wouldn't be me, would it? It was the golden dragon. Seeing her, his face went blank for a moment. Then he finally agreed, yes, it's you exactly. Despite the girl's sudden appearance, Doe's expression was not surprised at all. Have you been following me this whole time? The golden dragon's golden dress fluttered in the night. I attached one of my feathers to you. He corrected her. You mean a piece of fabric? He pointed behind him and said, About that, if you want to report me, I can be your witness. Hearing that, the golden dragon burst out laughing.
You? You're making me laugh.
Having a demon king like you as a witness? Hello, I'm a demon king. I stopped a hero who was trying to break the peace treaty by attacking the dragons and making humanity believe his lies. Even though she was teasing him, he remained quite calm, not at all angry. If you're not evil, she said, then why do you come and wreak havoc on the world once every 100 years, huh? Hearing this, he rested his chin on his hand in thought and said, You have a point. Why do we keep destroying the world? Why don't they just stay put and live peacefully in the demon realm? The golden dragon's face darkened at the dense demon's clueless question. Huh? What kind of idiotic question is that? And to think the one asking is a demon king, no less. He nonchalantly picked his nose and spoke. You shouldn't talk so much, pea-brain. While you're standing here wasting time talking to me, your descendants are being slaughtered. They're even calling those children merchandise. I'm sure this isn't the first time they've done something like this. Why do you think they hunt dragons? To craft equipment, of course. Your bodies are incredibly valuable. They even slaughter innocent younglings. Isn't that a blatant disregard for the treaty? Once he finished, the golden dragon slowly began to speak. Then, can you do something for me? He asked curiously, What is it? She replied at once, Revenge? Can you help me take revenge on that filthy race that's slaughtering my children? He looked at the humanoid dragon, thought for a moment, and then said bluntly, Why should I do that for you? You can do it yourself. She immediately replied, I can't. If a dragon leaves its territory and enters the human world, humans have the right to kill it. It's just like that battle of yours every century. That's a law of the world. So no matter how many of my children die, as long as humans exist in this world, I can't do a thing. Hearing something so unfair, he looked annoyed. What kind of messed up rule is that? What idiot came up with it? Suddenly, the golden dragon's eyes widened. Immediately after, his face contorted. Startled, he dropped forcefully to his knees. Blood was already dripping from his nose. I'm bleeding? What is this terrifying pressure? The golden dragon's level voice rang out. That is a rule of the world, the binding of the plane where you and I exist. He stood up, annoyed. First, they make these absurd rules, and when I call them out, they punish me for it. She stared at him in surprise. That's enough, you damn bastard! If you think you're so righteous and superior, then go make up rules in your own world and live by them. Why do you get to make rules for our world and force us to follow them without question? Faced with his tirade, she couldn't help but feel intrigued. Impressive. To withstand the punishment in a mortal body? You seem a little nuts, but you are the Demon King after all. A little blood was still on his nose, but a smile touched his lips. Watch your mouth, pea-brain. Next, the golden dragon asked a question just like Alex. So why? Why don't you want to be the Demon King? Her face lit up. You know, I'm incredibly excited. You're the first person to refuse the title of Demon King in the last 666 centuries. I bet Providence is going to have a real headache over you defying its laws. Suddenly, he cut her off. Why do you look so happy? Deep down, you've wanted to get rid of these laws for a long time too, haven't you? Her true feelings exposed, the golden dragon blushed and tried to argue. What are you talking about, you idiot? I'm just curious because you're the first person to ever dare do something like this. Right. And be wary of Providence. You might be safe for now, but... Hearing this, he scowled. They want to erase me? You think I'm afraid of their petty little tricks? If they want to try, I'll be ready for them anytime. Ignoring his anger, she spoke again. Anyway, where's my answer? Why don't you want to become the Demon King? What reason could you have to break the cycle? After 665 centuries of abandoning the role of Demon King, I'm curious what the motive is for it. Faced with the dragon's excited curiosity, he casually put his hands in his pockets. Why? It's no big deal. I don't want to be the Demon King because... Just as he was about to give his reason, he was interrupted. Alex emerged from a magic circle. Let's go, Master. I finished cleaning up that mess. He walked over and looked at her. You've been with the Golden Divine Dragon this whole time? At that moment, she was furious at being interrupted. Couldn't you have come earlier or later? Why did you have to show up right at the most important part, huh? Out of courtesy, Alex began to greet her. Are you well? Esteemed Divine Dragon and but he immediately cut in. Enough talking, open a portal home, now. The master's priorities come first. Yes, I understand. The golden dragon didn't give up, demanding an answer. Hey, just tell me before you go. Tell me why. Deus uttered a sentence as if he were breaking the fourth wall. I'll be crucified if I keep insisting on talking to you. So let's save this for another time. Her face darkened. What the hell are you talking about? He waved his hand dismissively. Go on, get out of here, hurry up. A moment later, she called out, Hey, Demon King, if you can't get revenge for me, at least expose them. Let them know how many heroes participated in this incident. How many innocent children were brutally murdered. Even in the human world, if they continue doing this, they'll be violating the treaty, and there are organizations and other races that hate humans who will also step in to deal with them. Suddenly, Deus held up 3 fingers. Triple the price, he said with a smile while lying next to Jack. Because your case this time is quite difficult. So I have to charge 3 times my usual fee? She was startled and shouted, What? Then she cursed, You damn demon! You truly are a treacherous bastard. He turned his head back towards Jack. Well, I am a demon after all. You can choose not to hire me and just let the children live in fear of being kidnapped every day or something. Hearing his taunt, the golden dragon was so furious her hair stood on end. Fine, I'll pay triple, you got that? Hearing that, Deus replied cheerfully, Thank you, my dear client. A spark of light appeared at her fingertip. Take this. His entire body was enveloped in a golden light. What is this aura? She explained, It's a spell that can help you hide your demonic aura. Those heroes and blood soldiers react to your aura. Now you don't have to worry about it anymore. Having received his payment, Deus's attitude changed instantly. I get it. You can get lost now. Alex, let's go. Yes, my lord. Seeing his goddamn attitude, the golden dragon cursed, That bastard! Now, only the dragon was left on this patch of land. She let out a long sigh. Am I doing the right thing? Time will tell. Meanwhile, Deus and his group were somewhere else. A large emblem was mounted on the castle wall. An airship flew in the sky. A magnificent castle stood before them. They exclaimed in admiration, How do they have so much money to build a castle? Alex, standing beside him, explained, That's because they are a hero family with a history of 60,000 years, the Holy Stuartia family. After processing what happened last night, Deus pouted and pointed at the small human beside him. He's a hero, so why does he look like that? Jack laughed bitterly. My apologies, my lord, for looking like this. He had to advise his childish master, You shouldn't say things like that right in front of people. The other party didn't understand and asked back, Why? A demon asked, a human answered. Jack could have thrown a fit out of anger. Why? Realizing that an explanation would be pointless, he changed the subject. Never mind, I've already explained it. Once a hero family becomes famous, many castles and nobles will want to become their sponsors, because becoming a sponsor for a hero is no different from indirectly fighting for world peace. Moreover, dragon hunts like the one last night are also a significant source of income. In truth, everyone knows about it, but no one dares to speak out. As the two were talking, Jack's entire body went limp like a slime, as if he didn't exist. Alex didn't notice this and continued, This is a very difficult thing to talk about, but they still see it as the right thing to do. The clueless Deus asked, Why is that? He patiently explained to his master, Because humans are at war with the demon race. The dragon race has no choice but to help them. If the human race falls, the next victims will be the dragon race. Hearing that, he agreed. That's true. The bodies of dragons are quite popular items in the demon world. Alex added, Very popular, in fact. His master asked curiously again, So this is something the dragon race is forced to do, supporting the human race? The intelligent servant replied, That's right. So are you suspecting that the Holy Stuartia family and other families are illegally hunting dragons? Even though it affects the treaty between the human and dragon races? As if remembering something, Deus nonchalantly asked the boy who had been ignored until now, Your family doesn't illegally hunt dragons, do they? Jack awkwardly rubbed his head. Huh? You have to be at least G-rank to even get near a dragon's nest. Then he calmly delivered a line that made the boy's soul leave his body. That's right. If someone like you could hunt dragons, then a stray dog or cat on the street could probably do it too. Alex quickly caught the boy, who had his eyes closed as if he were about to die. What do we need to do here, master? His voice was a whisper through gritted teeth. Jack, control yourself. A smirk appeared on his lips. I have something I need to do here. With a sinister look on his face, as if he were part of a secret investigation into illegal dragon hunting, this childish master rushed forward. "Let's go!" Alex called out in a panic. "Wait, Master, I'm fine with killing, but weren't our identities revealed yesterday during that fight with the nobles? Shouldn't we disguise ourselves a little?" Hearing this, Dare slammed on the brakes. A moment later, the two polite, energetic demons had transformed into one oddball and one mysterious figure. They had only changed their clothes. "All right, now we can go." Alex's new look made his face stiff and dark. "Maybe I should just go home." Ignoring the other demon's foul expression, Dare walked on cheerfully. "All right. Let's go!" Jack hurriedly called after him. "Sir Dare!" The boy was sweating as he rubbed the back of his neck. Just a heads up, but it would be better if you acted normally and properly. Not that you're unworthy of being a hero or anything." Surprisingly, Dare agreed. Fine. Shouldn't be too hard." The boy clasped his hands together, overjoyed. "Really?" At last, he stood before the majestic city gate. He just promised not to act strange. Just then, Dare shouted excitedly, scaring the soul right out of the young boy once again. "Hero of heroes! Candidate for the title of the final hero! You will become #1! Jack Pan Holyvice is here! Open the gates, you scoundrels!" He turned back with a proud, beaming smile. I was going to force the gate open, but I resolved it with words instead. I did a great job, right? Inside a large room, beautifully and opulently decorated everywhere, Jack marveled to himself, "This is amazing!" Suddenly, a glint of light caught his eye. On the wall was a painting of a majestic man planting a flag in a dragon's head. That's the man from the textbooks. The face in the painting looked just like Varius, the final hero of the 52nd generation who fought the Demon King to the death for 13 days and won. Hassan Pan Holy Stuartia VII? He's on a completely different level from me. It's shameful to even call myself a hero like him. Dare, sitting beside him, sensitively picked up on the boy's mood. "Don't worry so much. Aren't all heroes created equal? Don't be afraid." Jack gave a strained laugh. "Theoretically, yes, but..." A voice spoke up from behind them. "He's right. All heroes are equal." The whole group, except for Dare, flinched and turned around. The man who had just appeared bore a strong resemblance to the one in the painting. However, not all heroes possess the same skills. The gods only bestow the most sacred bloodline upon those who can bear its weight. They know who is fit to be a true hero. Welcome, hero of the Holyvice clan and your companions. I am Solus Ban Holy Stuardia, the 3rd-generation hero of this century. I have since retired and am now managing this estate. He subtly glanced behind him, thinking, I thought that person was going to be the one to step out. That must be his father. The final hero, born of the 5th generation of the century, is the embodiment of the world's laws. The title they are bestowed is an honor to their bloodline. One of the children of the 4th-generation heroes, like Jack and Varius, born from one of the holy maidens, will become the final hero of this era of change. Jack greeted him politely. Oh, hello. I'm Jack Pan Holyvice. It's a great honor to meet you. After introducing himself, he introduced the 2 demons. These are my 2 friends, Sir Dare and Sir Alex. The man stated casually. I know? The boy, bewildered, let out a, huh? He continued, I know about you and your party. I'm a bit late because I had to confirm some things with the Hero Management Department. It seems you've managed to gather your companions. I had heard you'd given up on the race to become a true hero. Hearing this, Jack started to sweat and gave a strained laugh. I'm not surprised you'd think that, but I haven't given up yet. Solus's eyes hardened. Dare, sitting off to the side, was lost in thought. A wealthy merchant paying his way into the party of a hero from the clan, a fallen hero, a shallow, common tale for the fame-seekers of this age. His friendly demeanor was gone. So what brings you to the Holy Stuartia clan? Dare answered for him. Nothing special. There's just a strange rumor going around. So we came to check it out. Seeing his master's nonchalant attitude and tone, Jack whispered in a panic, Sir Dare, your manners. Your manners. The man before them began to radiate a murderous aura. Your tone doesn't quite suit your position. Dare remained unfazed, ignoring the man's anger. I thought we were going to speak as fellow heroes, are we not? Or perhaps you wish to be treated like a high and mighty noble, despite no longer holding any official title. Jack's face went pale as he began to sob and beg, Sir Dare, please stop! Just when it seemed Solus would strike the impertinent demon before him, he burst out laughing. His expression softened completely. "You're certainly direct. I was once just like you, unaware of my own place. Acting on my own whims, looking down on everyone as if I could defeat the Demon King all by myself. But you should be careful. In any age, there is always a higher mountain than the one you're on." Jack felt the veiled threat and replied in fear, "Of course, sir. Everyone knows the famous Lord Solus, a D-rank hero, but getting back to the matter at hand..." Ahem. Solus poses a question to the companion of this young hero. "What is this rumor you speak of?" Deus recalled the rumor. The rumor I heard is that you people have high-quality materials here, and some of them are what we're looking for." Solus chuckled and said, "You may have money, but I'm not so sure you have enough for what you're truly seeking. We of the Holy Stuardia family only deal in top-tier, high-quality materials. For instance, black stone, the hide of a red salamander, or the monocore of the Lich King from the Horan War, or items like the heart of a white-headed giant from the Hoga mountain range." He thought to himself, how about that little fellow? Scared yet? Contrary to his expectations, Deus casually replied, "I have no need for such petty items." Hearing this, Solus was taken aback. "Ah." A smirk appeared on Deus's face. "I heard you have something of an even higher grade than a giant's heart." As the tables turned, Solus started to sweat. There's only one thing higher grade than a giant's heart, and that's a dragon. As Deus threw a pouch of money down, he began to negotiate. It's true our hero is still a novice, so he needs an item to bolster his strength. Inside the pouch were sharp, brilliantly red stones. "We're looking to forge a suit of armor from dragon parts." Seeing the item on the table, the renowned Solus was stunned. This is a blood-crimson lava stone from the demon realm. How did he get his hands on such a rare item? Blood-crimson lava stone is a common type of stone found in the volcanic regions of the demon realm. He stammered, "Don't you know? Dragons and humans are currently under a peace treaty. Hunting dragons for their parts is a violation of both the law and that treaty. We of the Holistiatia family do not take part in such illegal activities. Instead, I have other items that are equally rare. What do you say? Why don't you make a suit of armor from those items instead?" He suddenly turned his head. "Let's go, Alex. It seems this place doesn't have what we need." Though he was speaking to Alex, his eyes remained fixed on Solus. "But I wonder, whose soldiers were those I saw transporting a dragon by airship? I definitely saw the crest of the Holistiatia family on that airship." His expression turning grave, he slowly asked, "You saw something, didn't you?" Seeing the man's expression change, Deus chuckled. "It's just that we're rushing to enter the hero competition. We're rookies with a late start, you see. We ended up learning some unexpected things just from rushing all over the place, looking for items to try and catch up, and ultimately saw something out there we weren't supposed to." Solus's expression remained unchanged. "Is that so? How unfortunate. You really should have been more careful." Not backing down, Deus retorted, "It can take a long time to build a tower, but a single mistake is all it takes for it to come crashing down. We're new here, so we don't yet know how everything in this kingdom works. Wouldn't it be understandable for us to make a few mistakes? Who knows? If I get into a bad mood, I might just start spreading rumors that the old hero families are monopolizing all the best resources, the laws be damned. At the very least, you ought to have something to keep this mouth shut, right?" Sparks seemed to fly as they faced off. A tiny Jack carefully tried to hide. Excuse me." Suddenly, Solus regained his composure first. "Very well, this time I'll be the one asking the questions." Though his tone was calm, his expression was still serious. "Have you ever heard of a certain masked hero who appeared out of nowhere and defeated countless dragons?" He knew immediately that Solus was talking about his boy, but Deus feigned ignorance and asked, "And what about it?" The corner of Solus's mouth curled into a smirk as he bluntly laid out the situation. "I don't know if it's a mere coincidence, but the Doomslagon shield you're carrying is made from the materials of the blue dragon and the black dragon that the masked hero defeated." Hearing this, Deus's eyes narrowed. How did he recognize the Doomslagon? He chuckled in response. "I'm familiar with every item of rare grade and above. Judging by its color and shape, that is without a doubt an S-grade Doomslagon, especially one with scales from a blue and a black dragon. I've never seen a Doomslagon like it in the registry of this continent's treasures, which means it must have been secretly forged very recently." Alex silently praised him. His observation skills aren't half bad. Solus continued, "Your name is Deus, isn't it? It seems you're the one leading this group, not that young hero. So I'll say this to you. I don't know what your connection to the masked hero is, but if you happen to meet him, please pass this message on for me. Because he has slain so many dragons, the primary source of income and materials for some very powerful people has been affected." Deus said nothing. Seeing his lack of reaction, Solus continued with words that could make one's blood run cold. "Therefore, some high-ranking members in the major guilds, the ones deeply involved in this business, will soon take action against the masked hero and everyone associated with him." The frail boy screamed internally, "This is terrifying!" He still wasn't finished. A treasure like the Doomslagon should not fall into the hands of a declining F-rank family. The quantity of legendary items must be tightly controlled. Whether it's equipment or people, it's all the same, because rarity is the very value that makes an item's name. Solus slowly stood up. "Besides, we have no idea where you've heard those ridiculous rumors, but a prestigious family like ours would never engage in illegal transactions like dragon parts." His eyes lit up. "If you need low-grade materials for small items that are suitable for your hero, you can come back here anytime. I have some business to attend to, newbie. Farewell." With that, he slowly walked out the door, Solus's gleeful laughter still echoing. Deo turned and asked, "Are all heroes like that?" He continued, "I know this sounds a bit strange coming from me, but is that guy an idiot?" Jack whispered, "Yeah." Deo looked away, then spoke up. "So, in short, the blood clans are working together so they can hunt dragons and monopolize their materials, defeating all merchants outside their alliance to monopolize the trade of those things." From behind, Alex confirmed in a serious tone, "That's exactly right. The most important thing for a hero is their equipment. It seems they've controlled the supply of item crafting materials, so they can also control other heroes. That must be why most families experience ups and downs, while a few families with wealthy merchants have remained steadfast through the ages. It's a reasonable assumption that all the famous families are part of the Indeo organization?" Jack bowed his head, his voice tinged with sadness as he spoke. "Sir Solus, I really thought that you were an upright and fair person. There's no way all the heroes I admire are like that, right?" Deo turned his head and said with a sarcastic laugh, "Well, humanity is so corrupt. Looking back, it seems we're actually quite decent in comparison, aren't we?" His words made Alex just smile without saying anything. Deo kept smiling and added, "It's not surprising they've won. A whole 665 times against them, is it?" Alex broke out in a cold sweat but still didn't reply. A second later, Deo cheerfully threw an arm around Jack's shoulder. "Anyway, congratulations, you've achieved your goal." He didn't understand and just let out a "huh?" Deus winked and continued, "You didn't hear? The higher-ups of that organization want to pursue and find the masked hero." Hearing that, Jack paled, grabbing his face with both hands and shouting in panic, "That's right! All of them probably come from D-rank families. What do I do now, Sir Deo? If I get caught, I'm done for." Deo put a hand to his chin thoughtfully, then said, "Well, if they come in a swarm, it's no big deal for me, but it's still annoying. Just focus on the business. Our shop will be filled with weapons." He looked at Jack and smiled, making his decision. "So, we'll let the masked hero lie low for a while so they can't find him." Hearing this, the boy exclaimed in surprise, "What?" Jack pointed a finger to the sky and said, "Let's take care of one last thing tonight." Jack asked, confused. "Tonight?" He put on a dangerous expression with a savage laugh. "There are some things we have to put an end to. The corrupt noble family, Holy Stewardia, and the dragon poaching gang. We'll tear them to pieces." Night had fallen. The moon was high, round and bright against the sky. Suddenly, Deo saw something and exclaimed, "Oh!" He continued walking and said, "The Holy Stewardia family even has a lake in this castle. I'm so jealous." Suddenly, Jack shyly raised his hand and called out, Sir Deo?" Dressed as the masked hero, he said, "I have a small question." He immediately asked back, "What is it?" Jack asked him seriously, "What are we doing here? Are you planning to secretly infiltrate this place and bring out a dragon corpse hidden somewhere in the castle as evidence of their poaching? That's almost like stealing." Deo pointed at him and replied, "Exactly. Very clever." Then Jack happily raised his hand high again, making him ask in confusion, "What is it now?" The boy added, considering we're sneaking into the castle. Aren't we just brazenly walking into the center of the castle right now? Just as Jack finished speaking, someone approached. 2 soldiers from afar rushed towards them. Seeing this, he panicked and whispered, "Sir Deo, it's the patrol guards. We have to hide, quick, or we'll be caught!" The 2 soldiers' faces were as cold as ice as they stood before them. Jack, hiding behind Deo, thought in fear, "What do we do now, Sir Deo?" The 2 soldiers continued walking. It was as if they couldn't see Deo and Jack passing right by them, leaving the boy astonished. Jack watched the 2 soldiers' figures recede into the distance, then turned his head back and said with a smile, "So you already used an invisibility spell." Deo walked forward and raised a finger, replying, "Exactly." Jack's face couldn't hide his look of pride. He ran after him, calling out, "Wait for me," he urged. "Hurry up!" Approaching the magnificent and splendid castle, Jack's eyes widened, looking left and right. Every corner of the castle was filled with dazzling luxury. He hurriedly ran after him, panting with every breath. Jack asked, "Sir Deo, it seems they aren't actually keeping any dragons here. What do we do?" he asked quietly. "Really?" Jack continued. "Now that I think about it, where did Sir Alex go? I haven't seen him this whole time." Deo replied, "He went ahead to get to work." "Ah, I see," he replied. Suddenly, Du called out, surprising Jack. "Hey, you good for nothing? Has your clan ever lived this well?" He scratched his head sheepishly. "That's an old story, practically a legend now. I doubt we ever have. From what my grandfather remembers, we've always been this poor." Jack chuckled and replied, "I guess so. Both my grandfather and my father were low-rank heroes." "Ranks?" the man asked. "Do you guys take a test or something?" "It is a test," Jack said. "But the first step is to graduate from the Hero Academy." Hearing his words, I asked in surprise, "You really have an entire academy for that?" "Yes," he replied. "I'm determined to have my younger siblings study there." I pressed on. "It must be expensive." Jack hesitated. "Yes. The people in hero management are all shrewd businessmen. They sell people's futures, making you all dependent on them." Hearing that, Du burst out laughing. Suddenly, he stopped in his tracks and called out again. "Hey, good for nothing," Jack replied with a bright smile. "Yes?" Du lowered his voice. "You realize what? What we're doing right now is far from heroic, don't you? Sneaking into a hero clan to steal information and expose them. Are you really okay with that? Even though you're a hero just like they are. Even if there are some slight differences." His words made Jack fall silent. A moment later, Jack spoke. "I know it's a crime." The man turned to listen as Jack continued. "However, I've realized a few things after meeting Sir Solus." A smile spread across his face as he continued, "And that is that you, Sir Du, are a truly just man. We may be thieves right now, but in reality we're hunting criminals who are trying to monopolize materials vital to all heroes. Isn't that right? At first I was very surprised by your actions, but now I understand. You already knew Sir Solus's true nature. That's why you deliberately acted that way. To make him reveal his true feelings, right?" Hearing this, Do looked embarrassed and scratched his face, his mouth agape. "Ahem, I didn't think that far ahead. But you can think whatever you want." Du heard him call out and turned to see Jack's happy face. "Sir Du, do you remember what you told me when we first met? This is an opportunity." He held out his hand. To be honest, although I could never say it, I had pretty much given up on becoming a hero. Looking at his scarred hand, "How could someone like me ever become a hero?" He smiled happily. "Even though this isn't the ideal situation I dreamed of, I even got to meet a D-rank hero. It's something I never even imagined. And getting a good shield is all thanks to you, Sir Du. I'm well aware that I'm just a nobody. I haven't done anything to deserve all this." "Stealing?" Du asked. With a confident voice, Jack replied, "All I care about is my siblings growing up well. I want to make sure that, at the very least, those kids won't be called failures." His eyes filled with determination. "I swear I won't let anyone inherit this goddamned poverty. I will definitely raise them to be heroes." Du's eyes grew cold. "Even though they won't be on the front lines in the 666th war against the Demon King in 25 years, but at least they'll be able to join the fight as rear support." A beautiful picture hung on the wall. "Then I'll be able to hang up a picture." "Oh, call some. Hey, King.
of my own siblings fighting gallantly, like that painting we saw in Sir Solus's room, and it will be passed down from generation to generation as a family heirloom." He began to narrate. The Holubik clan participated in the 666th war against the Demon King in a support role. And so the Hollywood clan contributed to the defeat of the Demon King for the 666th time. And they lived happily ever after, forever. Du asked him, "And what about you?" He said scornfully. "What you want to do since you were born, who you want to become, how you want to live. Don't you have any thoughts like that for yourself? If you sacrifice your one and only life for your family and lineage, will you really be satisfied with just that?" He clenched his fists, his voice strong and determined. "That is all I want. I will end the Holubik family's poverty with these very hands. And to do that, I would even make a deal with the devil." Du grinned, his expression full of confidence. "It seems I chose the right person after all. All right then, let's just see what kind of ending awaits us at the very bottom of hell." "Alex!" Du called out. "Alex!" Alex replied from atop a nearby lamp. "Yes, master." "Ah, Sir Alex!" he exclaimed. "I've found it," Alex announced with a sinister grin. "Let's go, to these scumbags' secret room." Standing atop a high lamppost, Alex respectfully urged, "Master, let us be on our way." Instantly, Du broke into an excited grin and asked again, "You found it?" Holding the book, Alex continued gleefully, "Yes, and—" Then he looked intently at the book in his hands, his voice turning serious. "I've also found a list of the organization's members. Without a moment's hesitation, Alex began to loudly and meticulously read each name. Frankly, a prayer for mercy would have been easier on the ears. He grinned, pleased with himself, and clicked his tongue in satisfaction. These 76 families are no small matter. They are all clans with long histories and high prestige. Hearing this, Jack became wary. There are so many families I've seen in the textbooks. The Hero Course books. How can this be? Seeing this, Do remained completely unfazed and asked coldly, "So where are they hiding the dragons?" Alex immediately answered with conviction, "You guessed right, Master. They're right under the water. This is just too incredible." Jack jumped in fright, finding it hard to believe. "Under the water?" Very quickly, Do gave the order in a loud voice, "Then let's begin." With the decision made, Alex agreed in an instant. "Yes, Sir Do." Just like that, he effortlessly cast a spell, creating bubbles to envelop Do's and Jack's heads. Without any hesitation, Alex suddenly pushed off the ground and shot forward. Watching Alex and Do plunge into the water without a shred of fear, Jack was momentarily startled and panicked. He flusteredly failed to call out, "Wait for me, Sir Do!" The moment the thought passed, Jack's cheeks flushed red with embarrassment. It took him a while to finally muster the courage to make a decision. He suddenly leaped into the water. In a flash, Jack was submerged in the pitch-black depths. He grew anxious, quickly puffing up his cheeks and holding his breath. But in the very next second, Jack was thrilled and astonished to realize he could breathe. Is this because of the air bubble? Instantly, Jack was jolted by the sight before him. Countless giant dragons were bound in agony in the depths of the lake. They stared wide-eyed in pain. They glared at them with resentment. Faced with this scene, Jack recoiled, trembling in fear. In contrast, Do and Alex remained strangely calm. Holding the book, Alex read on in a somber voice. According to the report, they took their scales, healed them, and then took their scales again. Because someone is healing them, this process just keeps repeating. He remarked with a hint of dark wonder, "It's like a dragon scale factory." At this point, Alex's eyes widened and he rasped, "The oldest one," he declared with absolute certainty, "has had its scales stripped for 235 years. As if understanding Alex's words, the dragon suddenly stirred. Witnessing the whole scene, Jack, still in disbelief, questioned, "How? How could that be possible?" But Do paid it no mind and continued his questioning. "Do you think the Golden Divine Dragon knows about this?" In response, Alex answered honestly, "Perhaps. Even though things have gotten this bad, the Golden Divine Dragon still hasn't done anything." Hearing this, Do's eyes widened in anger. At this point, that would explain why the dragons are being controlled by those strange parasites. To fight against humans. I'm starting to understand these damn hero families. They've really gone too far. As his words faded, the atmosphere fell silent. Having no other choice, Alex stepped forward and suggested, "Let's just get a scale and leave." Seeing this, Do replied with resignation, "All right,
Instantly, Alex revealed a set of long, sharp claws. He focused his power and aimed directly at one of the dragons. In the blink of an eye, a dragon scale was cleanly plucked out. Alex immediately turned his back, urging, "Let's go." Just then, Do suddenly spoke up. "Something about this doesn't feel right." This confused Alex, who quickly turned his head. He watched Do's back from a distance, lost in thought. After a moment, Alex asked, "Aren't you leaving, sir?" To this, Do gave a short reply. "That's right." Alex was momentarily confused. "Yes?" Unconsciously, Do let out a heavy breath and said, "This isn't my style at all." As soon as he finished speaking, he decisively kicked the chain restraining the dragon. This made both Alex and Jack stare wide-eyed in astonishment. Jack immediately wondered aloud, "The chain?" Without letting them say another word, in the next second, Do took a stance, preparing to unleash his power. In an instant, a burst of deadly force was suddenly released. It easily shattered the surrounding chains. In the blink of an eye, all the dragons were freed. Some roared, others thrashed about, surging towards the surface. Like a storm, the dragons were liberated. They swarmed upwards, bursting out of the water. Witnessing this, Alex could only let out a helpless sigh. The scene changes to the surface, which was now violently churning. In a flash, the dragons flew out of the water with a great whoosh. Witnessing the sight before them, the soldiers froze in horror, their faces stiff. In disbelief, each one of them silently stared up at the horde of giant dragons. After a moment, they snapped out of it and burst into tears. "The dragons have escaped!" As soon as it was free, one dragon suddenly prepared to breathe fire. It aimed directly at the large castle. Very quickly, another dragon followed suit and also breathed fire. Flames of endless destruction swiftly engulfed the entire castle. The dragons attacked relentlessly, one after another. In the blink of an eye, the castle was heavily devastated. An ice dragon suddenly appeared, effortlessly freezing everything it passed. Terrified, Jack fell to his knees in shock. Doer and Alex appeared soon after, landing easily. Seeing the devastation before him, Alex immediately flew into a rage, demanding, "Why on earth did you release those dragons, huh?" In response, Doer just said coldly, "Because." Then, with a straight face, he explained bluntly, "Suddenly, that bastard Solus's stupid face popped into my head. It pissed me off." But Alex, still furious, continued to press him. "Didn't we say we'd just take the scales and leave?" At this, Doer grew annoyed and waved his hand dismissively. "Whatever, I don't care. It's not like I touched any of the blood soldiers. So what's the big deal?" Seeing this, Alex immediately yelled, "You've caused a huge mess, sir. Take some responsibility for this, seriously." Meanwhile, Jack could only stare blankly at the fiery, desolate scene. I was so sure he said he'd investigate quietly." The argument between Alex and Doer raged on. Alex cursed in frustration. "Now rumors about the dragons here are going to spread everywhere. What are you going to do?" Doer just coldly waved his hand again. "Who cares? Let them escape. Then we'll just blow this whole place up and be done with it." Those words instantly infuriated Alex, making him scream, "Sir Doer! Then why the hell were we operating in secret in the first place?" From a distance, Varius, who had witnessed the entire scene of destruction, suddenly appeared, seething with killing intent. He growled, "You bastards!" Seeing him below, Varius immediately recognized him and muttered to himself, "White hair." He ground his teeth in anger. "He's here too." At the same time, Solus was standing on a nearby cliff. His face was filled with rage. Solus's eyes glowed as he snarled, word by word, "My castle! How dare you do this to the Holy Stewardia family?" Suddenly he saw something that surprised him. It turned out that what caught Solus's eye was Jack in his masked hero costume. He gasped under his breath, The masked hero." A second later he roared, "You bastard!" causing all three of them to look up toward the source of the sound. Seeing Varius and Solus standing above, Doer's lips curled into a smile. Then he opened his mouth and taunted, "Oh, well, hello there. Don't touch me, or I'll kill you this time." Doer's words made him roar in fury. "You damn bastard!" On the other side, Solus screamed furiously, "Masked hero! I've been waiting for you!" Hearing this, Jack panicked, grabbing the pot on his head with both hands and crying out, "Spare me!" Varius quickly charged forward, and Solus lunged to attack as well. Both men raised their weapons high, aiming straight for the three people below, killing intent flashing in their eyes. Just then, a giant monster suddenly appeared, its mouth wide open. It chomped down on Solus and Varius, sending both of them on a one-way trip to meet their ancestors. Then, it flew up into the sky at an incredible speed. Doer, looking completely innocent, turned to Alex and held up his hands. "See, I didn't lay a single finger on them." Alex replied helplessly with a quiet, "Yes, sir." Jack looked up at the sky and exclaimed, "He's gone!" Suddenly, Alex raised a finger with a suggestion. "All right then, let's use this chaos to make a run for it." Hearing that, Doer raised a hand in agreement. Jack had no objections either. "Okay." As the three of them were leisurely walking away, elsewhere chaotic sounds echoed. "Help! Run! Save me!" In the end, the only two witnesses who saw Doer's group also died. Afterwards, history books would simply record that the reason for the Holy Stuartia family's fall was unknown. Their collapse was swift. The next morning came. Sunlight shone through the window as Jack groggily raised a hand to scratch his head, thinking, "It's morning already." He hurried off. "I said I'd focus on the shop starting today, so I have to get it open before Sir Doer arrives." The moment he grabbed the handle and opened the door, Jack was stunned by the sight before him, his jaw dropping. What greeted him was a massive crowd packed in front of his shop. "Is this the weapon shop with weapons forged by a dragon's breath? I told you the best restaurants are always out in the countryside." Someone shouted impatiently, "Hey, someone go wake up the owner! When is this place gonna open?" "Hey, no pushing. Don't cut in line." "What's your hero rank anyway?" "Oh, it's open." A man frowned and asked loudly, "What took so long, huh?" A blonde girl behind him exclaimed excitedly, "It's open! Let's go in quick!" A bald man behind her yelled, "I've been waiting here since dawn." Seeing such a large crowd, Jack beamed and welcomed his customers. "Ah, hello! Welcome to Devil's Weapon Shop." A man holding 2 swords turned and asked, "How much for these 2 swords?" Jack replied, "That'll be 7 gold and 87 silver in total." Another customer held up a weapon to buy it. "I'll take this one." Jack immediately gave the price. "This one is 2 gold and 13 silver." The shop was packed with customers, and the constant chatter created an incredibly bustling scene. "Wow, look at this. The color is a little different, isn't it? I've never seen a dagger in this style before." "Where are the shields?" a customer asked. "Hey kid, how much for this?" Jack answered, "That's 8 gold and 7 silver. Thank you, sir." Just then, Alex approached some female mages and spoke. "That magic wand truly matches the color of your cloak, milady." He took advantage of his handsome looks, flashing a captivating smile that looked like it came straight out of a painting, and said slowly, "We're currently having a buy 2, get 1 free promotion. Would you like me to wrap that up for you?" Seeing this, the mages stiffly agreed, standing above and looking down as Jack and Alex served the customers. He spoke up, assessing the situation. "Well, business seems to be good." Suddenly, Doe sighed in boredom. He leaned against the railing, thinking to himself, "I thought I'd be excited about humanity's love for making money, but this is even less interesting than I expected." Then he called out, "Jack!" causing the boy, who was in the middle of a sale, to look up. Doe gestured behind him and said, "I'm going upstairs to sleep." Jack replied cheerfully, "Ah, sure." Doe gently opened the door to his room. This incredibly luxurious room on the 2nd floor of the shop belonged to Doe. He walked over to the bed. Then he let himself fall onto it. With a comfortable expression, he said, "Ah, so soft." He yawned widely and added, "Getting rich is nothing special. Sleeping is still the best." Doe gradually drifted off to sleep. Just then a voice echoed, "Ghost, demigod, mother of dragons." The voice woke him up. Beside his bed, the figure of a blonde girl had appeared. It turned out the girl was the Golden Dragon. Seeing her, Doe asked, "You're here?" The Golden Dragon replied softly, "Mm-hmm." She looked at him with a slight smile and added, "You're always sleeping, aren't you? It must be nice to be so carefree." Doe's lips curved into a smirk as he said, "You saw everything that happened yesterday with Holisteria, didn't you? The list of families involved is on the table. Take it." The Golden Dragon glanced at the list on the table and added, "I saw everything, from beginning to end. It's clear they have violated the peace treaty between our 2 races." Suddenly, Doe's eyes began to glow as he asked, "So, are we starting a war with humanity now?" The Golden Dragon asked him back, "For whose benefit?" Doe lazily rolled over and replied, "I don't care as long as I get paid." She replied in agreement,
I will pay you. Do's eyes flicked over to her. This isn't something that can be finished in a year or two. You know that. Her words made the golden dragon fall silent. Do continued. Maintaining a peace treaty is difficult. You know that, don't you? So, when you were in the Holisteria family and found out the truth, you must have been furious, right? As the god of the dragon race, yet you didn't intervene. That's why you came to us to solve the problem. Isn't that right? At this, she spoke up. Not exactly. The golden dragon said gravely, the hero families spread a poisonous mycelium to make the dragons attack humans. That was their excuse to attack. That's the reason dragons are attacking humans and are being hunted to extinction. He asked, and what is the dragon's way of fighting back? She scowled and said, we have our pride. Instead of lowering ourselves to their level, we will attack them until the very last of us is gone. To avenge the loss of a friend, a lover, or a family member, would we use other friends, lovers, or family members for that revenge? No. Thinking about it, their actions don't make any sense. Mycelium. Do looked at her silently without another word. Her face then twisted with anger. Just as I thought. That mycelium was very strange. There's no way that humankind could create something as terrifying and bizarre as that curse. Who put such a filthy weapon? Into the hands of the hero families. Someone is exploiting the anger of my children and the hero families for their own gain. Do angrily grabbed the golden dragon by her clothes and raised his voice. Hey, everyone knows the little dragon whelps in your clan love to go out and cause trouble. Besides their parents, who in the world would believe they were framed? You dragons are only good for causing trouble on this continent. He glared at her with sharp eyes and continued, what's her name? Just call them back here. Give each of them a good thrashing and the problem's solved. Stop bothering everyone else. The golden dragon hesitated, replying, but at this moment, Do furiously ruffled his hair. I'm crawling back into my egg. Rules, regulations? Why do you people always have to complicate things? Do you have some kind of complexity disease? Don't you get a headache from living under a system all the time? Just break the rules and live in peace. Look at me. I live so freely and comfortably. No one can do a thing to me. Suddenly, the golden dragon let out a soft laugh. She smiled brightly. A demon king is telling me to live my days peacefully? You're terrible. As soon as she finished, he became flustered, his cheeks flushing red. He then buried his face in a pillow, ignoring the golden dragon who was standing there laughing. Leave me alone! Do squeezed his eyes shut, his lips still whispering. Why don't you people use your brains a little? Just gather a horde and attack the humans. There's no way you'd lose. Hearing that, she immediately replied, making him pause for a second. We can't. A brilliant light emanated from the golden dragon. She stated seriously, it's all because of humanity's bloodline. We cannot defeat them. Unexpectedly, Do also flashed a strange smile and said, and why is that? Why do you and Alex both get so vague whenever the topic of bloodlines comes up? As soon as he finished, the golden dragon quickly replied, you have never witnessed that day. Right now, they're nothing more than small fry soldiers and minor generals. But when that day comes, the day you are destined to descend and invade the human world, you will see their true power. With the halo of 10 crucifixes behind them, they will rise up and resist. No matter how much you suppress them, they'll fall with a smile on their faces, only to get up again and again, just when you think you've succeeded. A new bloodline awakens, and the counterattack begins anew. It's like moths drawn to the flame that is the Demon King. The real problem is that there are just so many of those moths, you'll even grow to fear them, to fear their courage. Humanity's belief in the final hero will be the great enemy you'll have to face in another 25 years. At that time, you won't be fighting people. You'll be fighting the endless courage that has helped humanity triumph for over 66,585 years. Without pausing, he let out a horrifying laugh. This made the golden dragon suddenly confused. He turned his head to look at her, saying aloud, the thought of me fighting Jack is hilarious. Suddenly, Do shot up and moved closer to the golden dragon. His voice was a bit loud. But wait, why don't I just kill the 3rd and 4th generations too? The final hero will be born in the 100th year, right? If we attack now and kill the 3rd generation, the final hero won't be able to appear and we'll win. Or we could just wait another 35 years until the final hero dies of old age. That would work too. Why does it have to be exactly 100 years? What an idiot. At this, she looked at Do with a sharp gaze. Why are you asking me? You're the Demon King, aren't you? You should be the one with the right to decide. Hearing this, he replied without hesitation, No, I don't know anything. We've been doing things this way since we were born, so I just thought there was some special reason for it. But Do didn't stop there and continued, When I ask, everyone just says they don't know, that it's just how things have always been. Those words made the golden dragon pause. It seems there really must be some special reason for it after all. Suddenly, Do's voice rang out again. Why do we have to fight? What is a demon? What is a hero? Hearing those words, she looked up, puzzled. Why are you asking such a meaningless question? Suddenly, he raised his voice. Don't you find this world strange? The demon race has lived in the demon realm for nearly 70,000 years, and we've been just fine. We can just keep living there. Why do we need to waste our energy invading the human realm? Because the human realm is blessed, and the demon realm is cursed. As soon as she finished, Do quickly replied, If God only blessed the human realm, then why create the demon realm at all? If he hadn't done that, then we wouldn't have to be killing each other. Suddenly, she seemed to realize something and pondered, Now that you mention it, but I'm sure he had his reasons. As soon as she said that, he hurriedly asked, What reason? And what is a god, anyway? In a flash, the golden dragon looked at him cheerfully. What do you mean? A god is an entity with absolute power who created everything. Before she could finish, Do raised his voice. Then why does he let us kill each other? Suddenly, she grabbed him by the collar, her voice threatening. I don't know the reason. Maybe he's having a midlife crisis at the age of 802, or maybe he's just crazy. As soon as he heard that, Do flopped onto the bed, shouting, My head hurts! Am I the only one who's discovered how strange this all is? Hearing him, she remained indifferent, her voice as light as a breeze. Because you're a foolish demon king. Do waved his hand as if shooing the golden dragon away. I don't know. If you don't want to get hit by an idiot, then get out of here. I want to go to sleep. Suddenly, she let out a laugh. The golden dragon's sharp eyes looked at him lying on the bed. I was feeling really down, but hearing your nonsense has cheered me up a bit. Looking at you makes me wonder what the meaning of all this is.